side because if that's the black love that's offered, it's like,
Said, what, man?
nothing.
No.
Oh, I heard you. I heard that too. What you mean go to the other side? Whoa.
Nothing.
I was like, is that? Are you referring to in a possession type of way, or like romantically? Like, what do you mean?
So, I don't know. But Jason, now that you are here, I can tell you what happened at Comic-Con since Chris is also here.
Oh shit!
You ain't told him this already?
I did, but I want to see his face when I tell him. So hopefully he'll give me a reaction that he got when I sent it to him.
That's crazy.
I mean, it's not though. So Comic-Con had to interview somebody with Secret Invasion. I was like, Chris, record this for me. All right, Jazz, I got it. 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes. Chris didn't save the video. Found out after the gentleman walked away and left.
Can I explain? So I don't have Snap. So
see, and that was a key. Now that's a key part of information that she left out of the retelling of the story. Now, in the initial, no, Chris, it's not my nigga. Why don't you understand? Or why couldn't you just say, "Hey, Jazz, I've never used Snapchat. I don't know how this works."
To be honest, okay, so the honest answer is I was overconfident and thought I could figure it out on the fly. That's the honest answer. I thought I had it and I didn't. And I thought it was like Instagram, because Instagram, it'll save automatically. Like it times out and then it'll just save. Unless you say discard. So I thought it did that. So when it timed out, like I was like, okay, it's gonna save. So I did record it. I just didn't save. Like I wasn't hating on you.
So when you recorded it,
yeah.
Did you hit the exit top? I'm assuming
I did. So it timed out, and then I was like, okay, I thought that maybe it would keep recording, but when it didn't, I was like, okay, they're still interviewing. That one is saved automatically. Let me go make a new video. And
you just got stuck at that point. You didn't even think you pull up the regular camera and just use that as video.
Well, I was trying to figure it out. And then by the time, it was like, as I was trying to figure it out, then it was over. Then Jazz looked at me, was like, did you get that? And I'm like, listen. So.
Yeah. And that's why I always advocate for testing things out before you end the show, before the lights, camera, action, all of that.
That's fair.
Instead of going in there head first, like, oh, I got this. And then turns out you don't.
But, okay, in my defense, like you and old boy, y'all just like hopped in. So y'all was in the conversation, it was going well, and I didn't want to interrupt. And it was recording. So I thought it was good. And that was, listen, that was a misstep on my part. So I apologize.
It's not even the cloud. You just listen to a conversation at this point.
Pretty much. I was just...
You was third wheeling. We were just third wheeling.
I was third wheeling, you know. But it was a good conversation though. Like it was good, and it was a great conversation. So I feel bad for bro because he did give he was into it and he was passionate, and then he texted you. He was asking about it, and I was like, damn, like he was looking forward to seeing himself. Yeah. So if you watching this, I'm sorry. I apologize. Like let's do it again. We can meet up in Tampa again. So and we could do a round 2.
Yeah. Well, Chris, we appreciate the effort, sir. You can talk to me today. So what's good, listeners? This is the What's Good, the podcast, a podcast about movies and TV shows. We do debate, argue, revision, remake, whatever it is we're feeling like that week. Again, I am one of your co-hosts. I am Jason. I am joined with my sister Jazz. How you doing?
I'm doing well, Jason. Ready to talk. Ready to get going on this episode.
And we are joined with a special guest host. You and Crystal, y'all kind of competing on who gonna show up the most. So we have to just, of course, after the tie happened, we have to put y'all on another episode together so we can keep it going. You know what I'm saying? But we got Chris. Chris, how you feeling today, sir?
I'm doing good. It's a little rainy outside, but I'm feeling that's not dampening my mood. Having a good day, a smooth day. It's nice. I was working remotely today for part of the day, so that was good. So I'm chilling.
Gotcha. Love to hear it. I just looked over because it's storming where I am. I don't know what's been going on with the weather. Hopefully it's nothing too serious. Earlier this year we did have a tornado, so hopefully it isn't, like I said, nothing like that. We're gonna pray, wish that away from the house. But again, we are here to discuss. Well, this episode 63. we are here to discuss Talk to Me. I've, very highly regarded horror movie in theaters today. We will see how this is standing up, with horror movies just in general, but also, of course, of the year for our game. So Jazz will be leading us today. So before we get into it, we will have spoilers, so we will spoil the hell out of this movie. Just let you know up front. This episode may get off the rails just based on the content, the stuff that went into the story, and I also want to throw out a trigger warning just based on some of the content that was given to us in the story as well. So, Jazz, I'll let you in.
Let me walk on in. See, if I was a little ghost, I'd be like, let me walk. Since we might be getting a sequel to this, we might see it from the ghost's point of view. But let's not get to that point yet. But we definitely gonna circle back to that. But yes, Talk to Me. We have this movie opening up to a party scene. We are following an individual, and I'm curious, did y'all notice in this opening scene that it was one camera shot?
One shot?
It was just like one shot. And to me, when I was watching it, it definitely felt like a first person shooter game to where you are over the character's shoulder and you're following them and you're seeing them pass people as he's going into the room. And I was just like, oh, they didn't cut any in this opening scene. Like, even when the people that you were following was out of the shot, you still saw them stuff around them. So I thought that was very creative. And this movie touched on a lot of different angles and how they used it to, of course, increase a lot of the suspense that was happening. But I definitely love this first opening scene. It gave me the violence that I wanted and also got my attention immediately. And it also touched on, from me, you see a lot of, and it was this opening scene and then a scene later on. Did y'all notice how a lot of the people that were at the party had their phones up?
That's the crave today. Like, everything is like that.
Right. So it's like you don't know what's going on in the situation, but it's like, let me pick my phone up. So this movie targeted Gen Z a lot.
It did.
So,
it did.
But like, let me get y'all's opinion on this opening scene. Like, how did y'all feel? Chris, since you are our guest, let me go ahead and get on you first.
Well, first off, that was like a really strong, like, I didn't realize that it was just one shot, but now that I'm thinking about it, like, I'm like, okay, now I see it. It almost had like, it felt like almost someone was recording with a phone, but not in a bad way, but just like how they were following them, how it just stayed there. So it felt very real. So, but I didn't peep that it was just one shot. But with the opening scene, like, it definitely grabbed my attention. Like, I'm like, okay, like, what's going on? Like, there's obviously some sort of event going on, like some sort of episode. And I'm like, okay, like, I'm in. But it's very Gen Z, because I did peep that about how, like, when shit started to get like kind of weird and like everybody pulled their phone out. Like, it could have been anything going on. Like, and they, instead of asking questions, seeing if they're okay, like, immediately pick their phone up. So it was very Gen Z. And I felt like the movie definitely was like very Gen Z-ish. Like, when I'm watching it, I mean, I'm obviously not Gen Z, but I do work at a college with Gen Z. So like, that kind of resonated with me. I'm like, okay, this might be how like my students would react to I hope not, but could possibly react to a situation. But it got my attention too.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it. But that's I feel like that. I'm honestly, that's true. That may just be everybody today. That may just be our world today, because you see everything that's going on. Everything gets recorded. You have people that's doing things with it. You can talk about, just throwing it. I mean, current event, the Alabama brawl. You can talk about that a couple of weeks ago. How you have people, a lot of people was recording. How many different angles did you see, Jazz? How many
At
different
least
videos?
12.
You see in the boat, outside the boat, on top of the deck, across the water. You got the people. I seen the guy that was swimming. He jumped off the boat. I ain't know where he came from. I seen that video.
Jason, I mean, realistically, all those camera angles let us in to that event.
Listen, it was like some NFL shit. You know how the NFL be showing replays from different angles?
Like the red zone.
Yeah, like, I'm like, yo, I didn't realize this many people were recording and uploaded it.
It happened. It happens. And Jazz, we talked about that. Not to cut you off, Chris, I'm sorry. We
No,
talked about that when we were talking about Joyride a couple of weeks ago. And you said even if Lola didn't post it, somebody was, because so many different people was recording. So just watching this, the one shot, it always that I feel like that is another way to reel you in. Just because there's no cuts, there's no angles, there's nothing that you don't know what's coming from what angle. And I love, like I said, the opening scene. Like you said, it pulls you because it's the whole thing of you got the concerned person that's running into a party. That's the trope, the party, people going crazy, somebody going crazy in another room. We got him busting the door down to the murders or the stabbings that happen. And like I said, the people, how they're reacting, of course they still recording the whole, like they just got their phone out. Then as it happens, then they begin to run. It's like, bro, as a black man, and I don't, y'all, I feel like y'all feel to say, if I feel a tense situation, I'm out of there. There's no reason for me to be there no more. Or I'm trying to de-escalate if it's somebody, if I'm familiar with that person. If I'm not familiar with them, I'm gonna be 100% real. I'll call the police now. Whatever that situation is needed. But you're just looking at that. So yeah, like I said, Gen Z it definitely is them, because that's the first thing they do. But at this point, I feel like that's just the way of the world, unfortunately.
Right. And I think also when the cameras came up, they were so in sync. It wasn't like somebody was delayed pulling their phone out because they saw somebody else phone out. Everybody pulled it out in sync. And I was just like, damn, y'all was ready. But I'm not gonna lie, like as he was going into this party, he was asking people like, where's, I think the gentleman name was Docket or something. Somebody was like, who the hell is Docket? I was like, that person he was looking for might be kind of lame a little bit.
I thought that too.
I was like, damn. But now, like when he stabbed dude in the chest, everybody ran out. But my thing is this. Okay, so as he was telling the crowd, put your phones down, he was talking to them for like a solid 10 to 15 seconds. Did nobody see Docket go get the knife?
I feel like you could, I mean, we knew because we're used to that type of situation. But I feel like they started so two things happening at the same exact time. It's, you have the brother looking at the crowd, going toward them like he's going to aggressively do something to them. But then you have the crowd kind of, I feel like it was a little bit of both. Like they're ducking because he's coming toward them, but also they see him coming with this weapon. Like they're,
okay.
So I feel like it was a two-parter type situation. Like they're already moving back because he's coming toward them, but then I feel like they see it, but nobody said nothing until he got stabbed. Like
I also feel like they didn't really take it seriously. Like,
it
seemed like it was a joke, and like they were laughing because when he's telling them like, "Yo, put your phones down," like I get they teenagers, but I do think that like the film did a good job of grasping like what teenagers are like. I watch some TV shows with teens, and sometimes like they acting more so like adults, but I feel like this is how like 16, 17, 18-year-olds react. But yeah, they didn't give a fuck. Like he was having an episode and they couldn't care less. They just wanted to record that shit. And like, which is wild, but I feel like it's somewhat accurate, unfortunately.
If you're talking about the show that you watch with teens, Euphoria, all of them motherfuckers have like they're adults. I hope the show's not Euphoria because they on some craziness for them to be in high school.
I will say this. So honestly, my guilty pleasure is actually teen shows. Like, or even teen horror movies. Like I like Halloween. It's technically like, about teen horror technically. But they seem kind of old. They look old to me. But like 13 Reasons Why, like on the low, I fuck with that heavy. So I do like, but Euphoria, I fuck with it heavy. It's a depressing ass show.
You sick, my brother.
No, it's depressing. Listen.
Is everything okay at home?
But I stopped watching, like I watched the first season. Like I said, I can deal with stuff that's heavy.
Yeah.
But at the same exact time, that's just not who that's not my mindset when I go.
I feel
some stuff I just kind of, I kind of watch out. Like Euphoria, cool show. I got through it. I watched it, but it's not a rewatch type. It's not a rewatchable thing for me.
I would say this: you sick as hell if you rewatching 13 Reasons Why. Like
so,
that's sick.
Yeah,
so like
when they have some stuff in there. It's just like it's heavy. It's
13 Reasons Why. Like in the second season, not to get. I know you did say we get off track, but 13 Reasons Why that second season, like even the third, it gets even heavier than the first, which is as crazy as that sounds.
I said like the second season, like when the guy was in the bathroom with the guy with the broom, like that's when I was pushing him to go ahead and go to the school and have fun in there. I was cheering for him to have fun in school.
I was kind of mad that they didn't let him. I'm like, spray that bitch up, yo. like play Call of Duty in that bitch. Like fuck it.
All right. But
Listen,
yes.
Jazz, if you watch it, you'll see why we say that though.
All right, but since I ain't never seen it, I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, y'all, wow, y'all. Whew. So Docket pretty much stabs his brother because we find out that's his brother later on, and then stabs himself in the head. He was quick with it. I'm not gonna lie. Like that scene made me jump, and I was like, oh, okay, so y'all starting early. I love it. I love the energy because A24 rarely misses. I know two misses that they've had that I've seen. We don't have to go down that road because there's no point of debating it. But
I was about to ask, but
Hereditary.
We ain't gonna do it.
Midsummer.
Yeah, that's the hill I die on.
I feel that. I respect it though. I was
about to say, Chris, fix your face, because
no. Like that's a like movies like both of those, like you either love or hate them. I like Midsommar, but I see why people don't like it. Hereditary, the ending is pretty crazy, but that first hour and a half, like it don't do it for me.
I really enjoyed. I really enjoyed Hereditary. Didn't enjoy Midsummer. However, in this movie here, like whenever that first scene, I was just thinking, who can I call? Who can I text about this movie? Because I'm already like, hold up. I'm in theater, like, man, hold on. I'm sitting, and I made sure when I got my seat, I'm next to people because I'm like, man, I'm not fit. Like the other theater was by itself. Like, hey, no, sometimes you gotta. I just need to feel some energy around me. Like
Chris, were you the same way? You had to have somebody sit beside you?
I feel like my theater was kind of empty because, Barbie has had the theaters packed.
Chokehold.
Yeah. Like every time I think I went to see Mutant Mayhem, and it was still like a lot of pink. So, and even that theater was it wasn't packed, but it was still like Barbie got they got shit on lock right now.
Yeah, they do.
So I don't feel like there was too many people. There was a couple. Like it wasn't empty, but it wasn't like it wasn't packed for sure. Maybe like half, maybe.
Okay. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But then after we had this exciting, wild opening scene, we are introduced to Mia. It looks like she is at a memorial service. I'm like, oh damn. And I'm not gonna lie, I thought she was at the gentleman's funeral who we just saw.
I did too.
A lot of misdirects in this movie.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I did too.
Yeah, it wasn't that. We come to find out exactly who it was. How did y'all feel like this scene with her when she's washing dishes? Because I thought this scene, and again, like how this movie did so many different angles and used the elements and the people around the main character, I thought was amazing. Because you see her washing dishes and her background is blurry. So you see her father come in and he's saying something, but she's washing dishes, so she can't hear him. And I'm like, so y'all use the audience's their sense of hearing. Because I'm hearing what she's hearing, and she's also hearing what I'm hearing. And she's not even hearing her father in the background. She's like, what? Let me turn the water off. And he talking all low anyway. He was talking low through the whole movie. And he says something, and she's just like, nah, I'm good. She waits a minute, because I feel like we all been in a situation where we might be pissed off at our parents. I've never been pissed off at mine, but I'm just saying maybe Chris or Jason have, not me. But
not Jay, did you come please on the podcast?
Hold on. Do your mom listen to this? Do your mom and dad listen to this?
I mean, it's out there. I posted on my Facebook, so like
they must. It's
out there now. So
Chris, if you go listen to our Joyride episode, hey man.
I haven't seen Joyride yet, so I was gonna wait till after I watched it to listen.
Oh yeah,
you can check that out. But yeah, I've definitely been pissed off at my parents.
Yeah, that's normal.
Niggas ain't. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because it seemed like she had some tension towards him. She like waited till he said something else, and then she's like, "All right, let me finish the dishes." And then he said something else. I thought that whole exchange was dope, and we never saw his face till like the end.
I love it. He never came into the picture. He never came into the picture until later. I felt like, and they did that with a lot of people in here. Like it was just like she, not paying them attention. I'm assuming that's what they were getting.
That's kind of what I got too.
She wasn't paying them attention until it was time to pay attention.
Yeah. So like during this scene, even though it was a small exchange between Mia and her dad, how did y'all feel about that? Especially her being the main character of the film.
I initially thought that the dad cheated on the mom, and maybe that's where the energy was coming from, because like she was obviously upset, but bordering on disrespectful. I felt like because she was very short. If I mean really straight up disrespectful because she didn't. I mean, I don't know. In a black family, that was I was like, okay, this might have like slid in like a white family. But with black people, I'm like, okay, maybe Australia's different, but like in a black household in America, this might not slide. So I was thinking the only way that he could look past that kind of disrespect is if he did something kind of wild. So my thought went to like he cheated. I didn't think he played a hand in her death because I didn't get that energy that it was like he did something. I got the sense it was an accident, or possibly suicide. But I was thinking that maybe he cheated on mom.
I'm not mad. I'm not mad at that. I think within this scene, like I said, it definitely gave disrespect when I'm looking at it, how she was treating the situation. But I'm one of the people who likes to reserve to get the full picture because a lot of times it'll be one thing and it'll be a completely different thing towards the end. It's a movie, and I'm not sure what what is going on with it. So I was just going to allow it to allow the story to be told before I picked the situation. But I mean, you could definitely sense the tension, and of course, it's addressed almost immediately after anyway. So
yeah, because she never like made eye contact with him. Because Chris, like you said, in a black household, if your parents trying to get your attention and they're talking to you, to talk to them with your back to them,
yeah, it's kind of wild.
Like, absolutely not.
Yeah, that's wild. And especially since you're like 16 too. You know, I'm guessing 16, 17. So like at that age, that's kind of wild to do that, even if you upset.
Yeah. I ain't never pulled that card.
Nah, me neither. Nah.
These new kids, they try. My kids, they do it, but it's I don't, black household still, I don't treat it as, like the parents may have done it back in the day. So for me, it is, you got to try to find a way into it. But I do feel like he was a bit more lenient in that situation. But given what the actual situation is, I don't know how you would handle it. So, because I wouldn't know how I would handle something as severe as things have been severe to me, and I've handled it the way I felt I needed to. So I don't know how you would handle a situation, with the grieving, which I do say A24. I do feel like A24. I don't think there's A24 thing, but they do play a lot with grieving in these stories. Just based on the stuff we went through from Midsummer to Hereditary. Those are just a few of them. I don't think X was dealing with grief like
no.
I think that was more like bipolar. I don't what was
the movie. The movie Men also dealt with grief as well.
It did. So they do deal a lot in that grief thing. So it gives you another layer to a character and their motivations or their actions, regardless of how messed up the fuck that they may be.
Right. And then like we see her mood change because she gets a call, which if I was a parent, that would kind of irritate me too. I'm like, oh, now you all excited and happy. You get a call. I'm over here trying to have a conversation with you. But then we're introduced to Riley, and I don't know the other boy's name. James. Oh yeah, okay. Thank you. So you got Riley and James out here chilling, talking, smoking a little cigarette, not really, or a cancer stick.
That was me at 7.
7. Whew.
At 7.
Okay.
Yeah, I got my ass beat. Black household. You get fixed real quick. That's something I never seen a cigarette again. Hate the way they smell.
Yeah, I tried my first cigarette at 8. Yeah, but I didn't get caught though. I made sure I didn't get caught. But if I did,
I didn't get caught, Chris. My neighbor got caught and he snitched. He told his mama. His mama came to my house. You know what the boys been doing outside? They've been smoking cigarettes. My mama beat the hell out of me.
I would have got my ass whooped because I shouldn't tell my mama's business, but I'm about to do it anyway. But she used to smoke, and I took one of her cigarettes, and if she hear this, she might whoop my ass. But yeah, I took one of her cigarettes. She had some Salem's, and like I was 8, I think, maybe 7, and yeah, I took one and I tried it, lit it up, didn't know what I was doing, and I think that was like probably the last time I did. I went through a little black and mild phase when I was like 18, 19. But yeah, that was pretty much it. Like I just didn't, but I for sure stole one of my mom's cigarettes though.
Yeah, I wasn't doing none of that shit.
Jazz, you might be a good girl. Possibly. I don't know.
I was like, bro, I couldn't even imagine my household smoking at 8. Oh, hell no.
I mean, I wasn't really smoking it. It was like I lit it. I couldn't even like I put it in my mouth and I lit it. I didn't know what I was doing. Like I tried to smoke it,
Oh,
kind of like what they
I
were
was
doing.
smoking. No,
Oh,
I
you were
was smoking.
smoking? Oh
I
wow.
was smoking. I was
Oh
riding.
shit.
I was so good with it. I was riding my bike, no hand smoke. Like,
Well, hold on. So were you a smoker at 7? Cause it sounded like you were experienced.
it was a bit longer than it should have. I mean, one time is more than it should have been, but it
True,
was
true.
more. It was a few times. We had the white boy.
Oh shit.
My neighbor was white. The homeboy that got caught was black though, so he the one that told on
Mm.
all us. The white boy was stealing it from his dad. He was giving it to us. So yeah.
Damn.
That's fucked up. You got caught like that though.
Yeah,
Nah,
that
that's
wasn't
fucked
me.
up that your black friend snitched on you. That's crazy.
He got caught. He had to drop the dime.
Yeah, he got to say who he got it from.
He had to put me in it because he didn't get it from me.
Don't. I
But
ain't
you know
never
how-
snitch on my friends when I was a kid.
I ain't never
Y'all
snitch on my friends
crazy.
either. No, I ain't never snitch on my friends either. But like, if they gonna be like, "Where'd you get it from?" And
He
you
didn't
can't
get it from
lie.
me. That's the crazy.
Yes,
thing.
you can.
He could
They gonna
have
figure it
lied.
out.
He could have lied on the boy.
He
He
coulda
had to put
lied.
my name in it.
Yeah, you could have definitely lied.
Jazz, Jazz, guess what? Guess what, Jazz? I took this nigga to my grandma's house, and guess what he ate, Jazz?
What, fish and spaghetti?
Bruh, like,
Why
come
we
on.
not doing this?
I know, but it was relevant.
We
though,
don't
to the
get no
conversation.
type of sponsorship at all for pushing spaghetti and chicken. Or no, fish. Spaghetti and fish. We don't get sponsorship. Don't nobody send me no plate. So we gotta stop this now.
But it connected though. It did connect though, Jazz.
Chris, it always connects. Just like Scream always connects. Just like
And you gotta
Marvel
talk about it.
always connects. No,
You gotta talk about it.
but we not getting no sponsorship. Look, we gotta promote our own shit now. Like, fuck that food, Jason. Unless we gonna come on here with some spaghetti and fish, we retired. I'm done. I am fed up today. Damn it. Oh, talk to me. We done. And Chris, don't say nothing about it tying together. Fuck all of that. But so we got Mia rolling up. She picks up Riley. She leaves James, but James is waiting on his mama to come pick him up. And so you see Mia and Riley in the car singing their hearts out. This is how I be singing when I'm on the road. I be going in. Like, you can see all of Riley's veins in his neck. This is his song.
His back teeth.
Look, all of that. I can see his wisdom teeth back there. They're ready to come out, like everything. So, like, when y'all saw this scene with them in the car, because I feel like we got some symbolism as we saw we came across what they saw in the street. Like, how did y'all feel about this whole seeing their bond closeness? And then also when it goes into the kangaroo, random ass animal in the street. They're in Australia. Okay,
Yeah.
got it. I'm like, where's the deers?
Yeah.
American, my bad.
I was trying to think of that as well. But it also kind of lets you know what kind of person she was to a certain extent. Like, she didn't have it. I don't know if it's like she didn't have it in her to get it done, type to a certain extent. Because it foreshadows with him later on, like the same exact thing. So I didn't know if that was like, because he was like, shit, put her out of misery, like that. It needs to go.
So, did you just call Mia a bitch just now when you was like, I don't think she had it in her? Like,
so if you seen the animal, first off, I'm probably gonna go around it. Just
me too.
I wouldn't never even stop. But it was something in her made her stop. So at that point, she could have did something. So yeah, to a certain extent, yeah, she might be a pussy. Like, cause she didn't.
Oh, shit.
She did nothing in that. She didn't call anybody. She didn't, put it out of his misery. Like what do they call that?
Mercy kill?
A who?
A mercy kill?
A mercy. She didn't do a mercy kill. Like nothing. She just left it there.
She did the worst thing you could probably do, actually.
Yeah.
Like, just let it suffer.
What would y'all have done?
I would have called
called somebody.
If I was shocked that much to stop my car and get out, I would have called somebody.
If I had a gun, I think I could have shot it out of its misery, but I couldn't run it over. I couldn't do that. Like, that's wild. Yeah, running it over is kind of wild.
You might mess your car up doing that.
That's what I would think. I would think I'd mess my car up before I think about the life of that almost dead kangaroo.
See, I wouldn't even be thinking about that. It's like, yo, what if I run over it and then I don't kill it at first? It might make it worse. Like, that's what I was thinking was going to happen. She was going to run over it, and then it's still alive, and it's suffering even more.
But don't run over the entire body. Run over the head. Which actually wouldn't do that much damage to your car because it's just the head of the animal. Now, if you over there trying to roll over the pouch and the thighs,
The
you
pouch
gonna
and the
fuck up.
thighs, Jazz.
I
What's wrong
mean,
with you?
look,
Why would you do that?
No, I'm just saying, if you roll it
Hey,
over the entire body, you gonna mess
She
your
just
car
taking
up. So
she taking her time. We need to get her checked out.
Yeah, you a little psychotic. You trying to fuck it up.
No, I would just look. I'm saying run over the head. Since you sitting here saying you might have to do a drive over it, then do a reverse. So instead of doing all of that, just roll over the head.
No, I feel you. I just you gonna hear it crunch, and like it's gonna be.
I can't take that. I can't take that part of it. That's the part. That's the part I couldn't take. But they do down here. They say in Arkansas, it may just be a country thing. It's like you stop swerving, just go. Like they just want you to just go through whatever animal you see, just drive. Like, yeah.
Oh shit. Which I understand because there are a lot of accidents up in North Carolina, where people are trying to swerve, and I feel like that's a natural reaction. And then you swerve, and now you hit a tree, and like you can kill yourself, and maybe swerve into traffic, kill someone else. So it's better. Better to kill the deer than like you kill yourself. That sounds bad, but like it is better probably just to hit the deer than you swerve and you have like you run into a tree. I kill myself. I swerve into traffic, hit someone else. So it probably do make sense just to hit the deer or the kangaroo if you're in Australia.
So since we're on a dark subject, let me try to go darker with piggyback on what you said, Chris. You said if you had a gun, you would shoot it. What if you had a baseball bat?
See, I don't think I could either because I'm not sure if one hit would do it with the animal.
But if you aim it at the head,
still, nah, I don't think I could. I could with a gun. I feel like I could, but with a baseball bat, I don't think so. Like I don't feel like a monster, like just beating his head in, like for real.
It would be kind of crazy.
Yeah, that's kind of wild. Like, and that's a wild question, Jazz. I'm not gonna lie. That's a crazy. That was dark. Like I was expecting dark, but you took it there.
I'm glad. Jason, what about you?
Oh hell no, I'm not doing that. Like you gonna be out there going crazy. I might in a situation like that, that may trigger you to go be crazy.
You know who's that's like? Sam Carpenter. We gotta have a screen reference. You kill a little bit and you open that door and you might just open something in you.
I mean, how many bodies Sydney got on her?
Sydney, that's self-defense.
Oh, so the reasoning matters and not the bodies.
But the difference, Sam liked that shit. She enjoyed it.
But hold on, you're adding parameters.
So it is a little bit different because you're referring to somebody who's been like you can trigger her trauma could be triggered in that. And I mean, Sam has only self-defended herself. She's not gone and just tried to go and do. Now she's took it overboard. At least Sydney is just like, I didn't need him offer me, boom. Sam is.
But you have to think also, Sam is going against people that have bulletproof vests on, so she has to go.
No, she's not.
Times for her.
She's not. Yeah, she's not. Yeah,
she's not. They be regular naked bodies, and she be going.
She be fucking them up. Yeah, I don't think nobody had a bulletproof vest.
No, literally nobody that she's faced had a bulletproof vest on.
The cop, the dad.
Well, she stabbed him in the eye. She stabbed him in the eye, though. He got stabbed in the eye.
She's talking about Richie.
She stabbed him in the shoulder, all up and down his neck.
Jason, he was moving too. So maybe she was going for the chest, but his arm got in the way.
She liked that shit.
Look, all I'm saying is self-defense. Because she killed Richie. Richie was trying to kill her.
It's been self-defense, but she's going a little bit too overboard.
And she said she liked it. Like that therapist, she said that she enjoyed it.
Listen. You know what happened, what the conversation between her and her therapist is between them, Chris. You can't even reference that. Like, that's confidential. Plus, he's dead. So
the information is leaked on the internet. We all know.
Yeah, I mean, we know it. Oh, a matter of fact, that got stolen. Anyway, so yeah, it's open. Everyone knows that she liked it. And that might be part of 7. When they stole it.
No.
So they might know that she enjoyed killing Richie.
No, let's not. We don't need to bring up Richie. No, we don't need to bring up that file.
What you mean? Oh, are you done with that?
Everybody should be done with it.
I mean, that's fair. That's actually fair. You know, that's fair. I actually heard some theories on what people think 7 will be about, and I'm cool with them letting like Richie and like that family. I do want to see their mom. Like, I am curious about what their mom is at, So you don't want to see that? You're not
One of your
curious?
mamas.
I mean, but y'all ain't even curious on where who she is, what she is. Even
Sam? Are you talking about
no,
Sam?
no. I'm talking about Richie and their mom.
No, I don't care about their mom. I'm the person saying if it's J Lo, I'd be cool with that. But outside of that, I'm cool on even Sam and the mama. I'm cool.
We get Selma Hayek.
That's cool too.
Yeah, we get Selma Sophie Vergara. I think that's how you pronounce it.
Nah, we ain't going for it.
You know what? She bad.
Is this what we doing? Can we
back to the movie?
Yeah, back to the movie. All right.
So Riley and Mia get back to the house, and we meet Jade. I ain't gonna lie.
She deserved it.
She did. They fucked her up with them pillows. Like bad. So how did y'all feel about the exchange of obviously us being introduced to Jade and maybe her role moving forward and her friendship and relationship with Mia and Riley?
So with Jade, I mean, she's the big sister.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in my home, I was very close to my siblings, so I wouldn't have I'm going through hell and high water for my siblings. They like my best friends. Like in any situation, they've been in fights across the town. I'm driving, speeding down the highway to make it to them. It's not a thing of me ignoring them. In that, so Jay, I don't want to say it may be different with women, but their situation is a completely different relationship, and it's kind of like I guess she's in that boy craze stage right now because Damiel is her life at this point. She put the best friend on pause, the mama on pause, the brother on pause, just to text somebody who ain't even showing her affection to an extent.
Honestly, I felt like it is kind of wild that she just didn't pick up her brother, but I feel like that is that self-absorbed, selfish, I'm guessing like 16, 17-year-old teenager. So I think they captured that well. Like I could see a teenager just being like, yo, he'll be okay for one night, like just a teenager making that bad of a decision. I think there were other moments where I think she did show that she definitely cared about her brother. But yeah, she just boy crazy. Like she is, like Jason said, she's in that boy crazy stage, which is kind of wild because they've been together. I'm jumping a little bit ahead, but they've been together 3 months and they hadn't kissed, right?
Right.
That's what we're saying. So that's kind of crazy. You going crazy with a dude and y'all ain't even kissed.
His energy is right.
That's what I'm gonna say. You can find love off conversation. You know what I'm saying? That's how sometimes friends become a thing. They never done a thing, but this person vibe, we hang out, we do XYZ, they know me, they have a good conversation, boom. Now y'all at work on top of the counter.
Have you ever talked to a girl for 3 months and you ain't kiss? And would you do that? Y'all dating? Like you dating?
No.
Okay. No. And I guess maybe it's different for a relationship. But yeah, I mean, but just going back to that dynamic, I mean, yeah, I feel like it was accurate. And this is why like I enjoyed the movie because I do think that they captured like teenagers pretty well. That they do stupid shit, they do selfish things, that they just self-absorbed, and definitely just that like this is my person and like my life is gonna stop. Every other aspect of my life is gonna stop for this person. So I like that and I thought it was pretty accurate.
Yeah, and it's definitely funny because you see Mia trying to have a conversation with her. She's not even paying no attention. And she's just like, it's my mother's second remembrance day. And Jade was like, oh shit, that was today? Like, that's crazy. Like, this is supposed to be your best friend. And her mother died today, 2 years ago. So, like, everything I said about her with the being boy crazy, completely true. But I thought it was wild that Mia pretty much used that excuse to convince Jade to go out.
Manipulative.
Yeah.
Right.
So, very manipulative.
When you saw that, when I saw that scene, I was like, wait a minute, sis. That seemed kind of wild because Jade was like, nah, I ain't trying to roll out. I'm chilling. She just like, I just don't want to remember showing her these videos. There's nothing in these videos that made me want to say, oh, hell yeah, I gotta go there. Did this video sell y'all? Like,
nah.
No.
I remember they was doing that little pass out challenge at one point. Like they be doing just some of the wildest stuff out here. I'm not doing none of that.
Listen, my friend was just like, yo, I want to go to this party. I'm like, take your crucifix and your sage and your gun and go by your damn self. Like, I'm not going. Like, no. I was like, what is going on? But And then you pretty much see she was able to go ahead and can Daniel come? And she's just like, I feel like during this scene we kind of learn that Mia and Daniel have a somewhat of a history. But they were pretty much dropping breadcrumbs leading up to that storyline. But
I mean,
so Jade is
she said as long as he can touch my coochie, like what? Like that ain't even a conversation we having about somebody I'm with. Like no,
that is kind of crazy to say, and I feel like that should have been some insight to like why would you say this about your friend's, about your friend's boy, her boyfriend. So that's a wild thing to say, even as a teenager. It's like, that's kind of questionable.
Yeah, Mia was wild. And then we pretty much got to see the relationship with their mom. Mm-hmm. And we learned that Mia is really close with the family. And I thought it was funny because the mom came in, she was just like, Riley, get your shit off the table. Like, so I was just like, oh, she's one of those kind of moms. And we see Mia and the mom pretty much talking about it being her mother's Remembrance Day and all of that. And then you see the scene of Jade and her mom. Her mom's like, why are you rolling up on me asking me if I'm going to bed? Like, you trying to sneak out? So we kind of see Jade isn't I guess a good girl. If her mama already know that she's sneaking out. She was like, why do you always think I'm sneaking out or sleeping around? Which is kind of wild to know that your daughter's doing those things if she's like 15, 16.
They have an open. They seem to have an open relationship. You know what I mean? Like they have that closeness. They conversate. They do these different things because when they was still having that conversation, she eventually come back later when she was talking. She just she just tell her mama anything, or she tell her everything in there. So I mean, I don't think that's horrible. I understand where you're coming from, but I don't think that's like crazy. Because I mean,
I was gonna say it's not bad, but a lot of that stuff I wouldn't be like. I'd be like, nah.
You wouldn't, yeah.
Certain things, but yeah. What you think, Chris?
When they were having that conversation, I didn't take it as maybe like Jade was sleeping around, but just moms being like, don't sleep around. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I thought it was. That was more so like, don't go out, because she has a boyfriend. So it's more so like maybe the possibility is there, not necessarily saying that like she had done it before, but like, okay, like don't do it. With what's his name? Was not with Daniel. With Daniel, yeah. So that's how I took it. But her mom was their mom was something else though. She was funny. She was a funny lady. Her. Yeah, I liked her too. She was funny.
We typically have the kid that's the comic relief, so it was dope to see a parent have their role.
And it felt natural. Like it didn't feel forced, or it didn't feel like, oh, like we need a joke here, and like the comic relief is something that like a parent would actually say. I feel like.
And we also find out why she's avoiding her dad as well. When she's speaking to the mom, she just said it just feels super depressed when she's around him. She said she's not a bad person. Can she fix her? Which I feel like that was foreshadowing for her role later down in the movie as well.
Yeah. And with that, I mean, with her feeling like sad and like her dad like making her depressed, I can understand like maybe isolating herself from him, but maybe not so much the disrespect. Like that, I mean, I guess that grief and like if those feelings of depression can like manifest itself in weird ways, but that just felt like this is a weird response. That if she was just like maybe not talking to him at all, or just like being distant, I'm like, okay, I get that. But that was just odd. That like, okay, her dad didn't actually do anything, because I'm like, her dad is hurting too. And you're treating him like he did something when he, like, for lack of a better word, is a victim too. And then you kind of he lost his wife and you kind of losing him too, and like acting like he did something to your mom. So when I found out he didn't actually do anything, I'm like, then I'm looking at Mia. That was like the first, because Mia was a kind of a wild character. That was the first time where I was like, okay, I guess the second time now, because that comment about Daniel, I'm like, okay, and the third because she manipulated her into going. So I'm like, okay, Mia, that's 3 strikes, and she adds some more as the movie goes. Like, I'm like, okay, that's like 3 in 10 minutes. Like, all right, I'm looking at you like kind of side eye, because I'm like, yo, Pops is like, he lost his wife. You mad at him for nothing. So yeah.
And 4 was the scene right after this when she allowed Riley to go to the party.
Completely irresponsible. Like, Riley should have stayed at the house.
Yeah, he should.
And Riley was like, look, I'm going to go or I'm just going to stitch. And then Jay was like, Mom, I already know we leaving.
Mm-hmm.
But does she know that you didn't pick me up? And then you could look at Mia's face like, oh shit, checkmate. But like, she was so happy that Riley was coming. Another scene where you pretty much see their bond and connection. He had a closer relationship with Mia than Jade. But then also in this scene, we come to find out that Jade and Daniel not kissing, not doing none of that. Because he's really religious. And Mia's like, what you mean, sis? And I'm like, why she seems so interested in their relationship? We come to find out later. Yeah. Ooh, boy.
Do y'all think Daniel was gay?
No.
I kind of, when I was watching that initially, just because 3 months is like, even religious, like not a kiss at all for 3 months.
He didn't stand Jade. He couldn't stand Jade.
Yeah,
he was kissing Mia.
He didn't like her.
I don't know. Mia.
I don't know why he got with her, but he didn't like her.
Okay. Do you think maybe I don't know. Why not just date Jade then? I mean, date Mia.
I don't think he knew how to go about that and dealing with. I mean, Mia just seemed so weird to a certain extent. Like, it probably wasn't an easy situation to get involved with. But then at the same time, I feel like, kind of jumping ahead, like some of them flashes in those scenes. I feel like them were memories. I don't think those were things that she wanted to happen. I think those were memories.
Okay.
So like because she sees her dad in the door trying to get in to get the mom, then she's kissing him. They doing a little hand thing again. I feel like those were memories, not
like
something.
A dream.
It wasn't a dream. It was something. Something that I think she was remembering that. And I feel like he just. I don't know why it didn't work though. You know what I mean? That's just me brainstorming. I don't know.
I didn't. My bad. Finish what you're saying.
You good, bro.
Oh, I was just gonna say. See, I didn't think those were memories. I thought that they were maybe like illusions, or maybe like what she wanted to see. That's why I was thinking that they would just like maybe had like a kid relationship when they were younger, like she mentioned. But I thought that I didn't think they had done anything before. I thought she just had a crush on her best friend's boyfriend. I thought it was just that. So like him not kissing the girl, his Jade. I was thinking that's kind of odd, but if you think that they were memories, then it makes sense that he just got feelings for her and not with Jade. But when I'm listening to that, I'm like, okay, even if you're religious, you're gonna want to kiss, so that's why I was thinking that maybe he was like gay and like he was just like dating a girl like to, just to hide, so that's what I was thinking when I was watching it initially. But if you feel like they were memories, then that obviously changes that.
I mean, that's just my thought. I could be wrong, and then it could have just been her just dreaming, but we know what she ended up doing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't know.
And the reason why I did just like the last comment is because, later on in the movie, it shows her a lot of things that aren't real. So I don't know what's real and what isn't. So that's why I wasn't sure, like, is this just like maybe showing like what, could be, what could be. But I guess like when, and I'm jumping ahead again, when Daniel gets possessed, the spirit says that he likes her, so that kind of does confirm that maybe they did do something in the past for sure.
He did not say he liked her. He was over there rubbing on his chest and licking his lips.
No, and didn't the spirit, they were saying that it said something to the lines that like he don't like you, and then he points at
he did. The spirit was just like he hates when you touches him, and everybody was like, "Oh shit!" But then he turned to Mia, start licking his lips.
Yeah,
cutting his eyes.
That's I feel like that's what he desired.
That's kind of wild. Imagine you hear that, like the spirit say that he hates when you touch him. That's kind of crazy.
They did say the spirit was a cunt. That's what they said in the movie.
Yeah,
that's what they said in the movie. I was like, oh shit. Can you imagine all the stuff that Haley and Josh seen? They probably have seen a lot of wild stuff.
Hell yeah.
They be hosting some crazy parties. But that's who's hosting this party. Haley and Josh, and we pretty much meet them. And it seems like Haley and Jade have like some sort of friendship. But then as you see after Jade comes in, here come Riley. She's like, what are we babysitting? Like, what the hell? And then you see Mia come in, it's like, fuck me. Like, it's like, oh, so Haley don't fuck with Jay or Mia's like, oh, all right. And then you start to see Mia around other people.
Mm-hmm.
How was y'all feeling Mia in this scene right here? Because it's just like, sis, like, what are you doing?
It was super awkward. Like I don't know if Mia has done something to make, because there was never an allusion to her doing it. They just said she's weird. She's weird and she's clingy. And I'm assuming just maybe because she's just so close with Jade. There was no real reasoning behind it, and how they was acting or treating her.
I just got the sense she was really socially awkward, and that it do seem like she has some sort of past, but it doesn't seem like maybe it's an incident. Maybe she just being weird and awkward, and over time they just like, okay, she's the weird girl. That's kind of what I was getting. She just has the reputation as the awkward weird girl, but it was very awkward, and the actress I thought did a good job of playing that, because I'm like, man, this is cringy. Like, yo, just be cool, you know. She had a hard time. She seemed really uncomfortable in her skin. And so I thought that was a really good scene, and like she played that weird, awkward girl really well.
And to piggyback on that, Chris, I was thinking maybe she might have had a few episodes when her mother passed. To where, because her mother passed 2 years prior. So I was thinking maybe something happened to where she had to be out of school, taken out, or something. So I was thinking it was pretty much maybe referencing something like that, because Haley even says when she's talking to Jade, she's like, I can't stand her. Like, she's just so depressing. Which, where Haley's saying that, and then you see Jade first one up to play the game, it just seemed like the complete opposite. But I don't know if Mia was trying to be in a situation of like, I want more friends, I want to get noticed, so let me just go with the crowd. So
I mean, to a certain extent, but we also know the only reason they're at this party is because that's what she wanted to do. Like, it wasn't something that Jay wants to do. So she came to get possessed. She's probably been. I wish there would have been like more, like her on her phone a lot, just seeing her look it up and stuff like that. But I mean, we kind of know she had already sent. She's been looking at it because she had already sent it to Jay, and she was like, "Hey, you want to go to that party?" She's like, "I want to go to nothing like that. That's not in my crowd." Shit, I do. I want to see what it's like. I want to see, what comes with it.
Yeah. So we pretty much see the game. Well, actually, we're introduced to Daniel. Daniel comes in, and Daniel is hugging Jade. And here go Mia. Hey, ex-boyfriend. I'm like, listen, Jade should have put hands on her ass like before they got to this party.
But you know what? If she's saying shit like that all the time, like that would probably make me like, Haley was saying that she was depressing, but like if Mia is saying stuff like that, I could see why people don't like her. And not even just because she's weird, but that's a very tacky thing to say. And I know they teenagers, but that's a wild thing to be like, yo, like this is my Jay, this is my boyfriend. And it's like, why are you talking like this? And after the comment about, grabbing her coochie, like, yo, that's twice in like an hour or 30 minutes, maybe even less. Like, she kind of wild. And so it was kind of like, so when Haley, and I'm jumping ahead, but when Haley made that comment about it being obvious that Mia is into Daniel, like, it is like pretty apparent. Like, she's almost like waving a sign at you. So if she's doing that to everyone else, those kind of tacky things, I could see why people don't fuck with her.
And also, we said it was 3 years since they dated. Her mom's maybe passed 2. So I can see where she probably just wasn't there in that, to a certain extent, or to be able to even be in a relationship with you.
Yeah, it was. Whew. But then I guess I'm curious, like, if her and Daniel dated like 3 years ago, how long were they together for your best friend to start dating him? That's a code.
I got the sense it wasn't long, because I think when they spoke about it later on, I got the sense it was like just like those middle school relationships that like when you dating for like a week, you know what I'm saying? So but also she's clingy too.
Even if I dated him in elementary school, sis, he's off limits for the rest of his life. Like,
that may not apply. That may not apply though. That may not apply in middle school.
What do you mean?
Yeah. That don't
Yeah.
apply for middle school.
No, she said no. Jazz is that
back
you?
elementary school? Like if we in the sandbox building castles together and saying it's our future home at 7 or 8, y'all smoking cigarettes and Jazz like, look, I'm getting my man like, look, this our castle. Like no friend can date him.
So,
Jazz.
so there's, you don't have like even like after 7 years, stuff fall off your credit, Jazz. Like this nigga don't fall off.
First off, you know damn well people do not fall off. Trust me, if they did, they wouldn't pop back up in your life.
Nah,
so
but
they don't fall off. So.
But that's not how middle school. So you ain't. That's not how middle school was though. Like when you young like that, like people they were jumping around. Like it was different. As an adult, I agree with you. You shouldn't be dating. But as a kid, that's different.
Chris.
Jazz,
if I dated him in the 5th grade, he's off limits.
That's crazy.
What do you mean?
That is crazy.
I heard all this shit, but no, I said what I said.
Like what I said. Even if I don't even know how he look as an adult, if I see that hopeful name saved to your phone, wait.
Yo, Jazz, that's
crazy. What y'all talking about? Like, what's going on?
I'm like, look.
Yo, that is crazy, Jazz. Like, yo, you be so every nigga you dated. Like they off limits forever.
I get it. Like I said, high school and above, I get it.
Yeah,
like,
high school and above, I understand. Yeah, but middle school, that shit don't count.
If y'all weren't smoking them cigarettes, you'd be like, all right, I get it. I get it.
I'm not the same person I was then. So I don't have nobody to even talk about to go back to from them days.
Look, I'm be real. Me either, but I'm just saying.
Listen, I was a dork in middle school, so I don't either.
It was like this one girl I used to come to. We used to switch classes. That's when we first started switching classes. It was this one girl that used to be on she was right on my desk all the time. But I never, because I didn't know how to even approach that situation. I told my cousin, he started dating her. I was like,
oh, that's fucked up.
You know what? That's happened twice.
Hey, that's fucked up.
Twice. A girl likes me.
I'm so sorry.
And I've told them when they dated her. They dated this person.
Yo, how old were you?
Both times, it probably was like 12 and I was 13. Like it was middle school.
Okay, that's the kind of middle school, man. It was sleazy. Like it was wild. Jazz ain't hearing it.
Man, my cousin, that one girl said we was like graduating. Like,
damn. Do you ever be like that? Could have been me. Baby, listening? All right, you'll tell me after we finish. But that would be wild. Like the person I had to actually, never mind. So yes, Mia is first up for the game, and it's funny because when Haley saw Mia, it was like, "I'll go first." She was like, "Oh shit, okay, let's see how this about to go." And so we pretty much learned that the hand, and no, it wasn't in the scene. I think it was when Daniel went. They gave the kind of the backstory of the hand, but so Josh ties Mia up. She liked it at first, but then he was like, "Oh, I gotta strap this tight." She was like, "What the hell?" But that scene doesn't look like it was planned. It looked like it was just completely organic, a natural, her reaction when she was just like, "Oh shit, y'all really got me in here." And so Josh was like, "Yeah, you gonna want to be tight." And it's just like, you come to find out soon as she lets them in, 90 seconds, nothing longer. And she was like, "What?" Oh, let me not do the accent because I'm gonna tear it up. And Josh was like, or no, it was actually Haley and Josh in the scene. They was just like, "Well, if they stay longer, they'll really want to stay." I figured they probably got to go a few rounds for them to start to move in. No, they don't need multiple rounds. One, that's it. But like, how did y'all feel about this scene of what Mia saw? Like, were y'all expecting this? Did you jump? Like, let me know how you felt.
It caught me off guard. I kind of expected that, like, she would see like some visions, or like some sort of like possessed person, entity. But it was spooky. Like it was definitely like a creepy scene. And I would say like this, I would say is when the movie like really started to pick up for me. Not that it was slow before, but this is when the movie was like, okay, this is like gonna be like a very good movie. So I definitely enjoyed like this her getting possessed, or like, yeah, I guess a possession is what I guess I'll call it. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, and I enjoyed this as well because she seen two different people when she the first talked to me, and it's I don't know, it was kind of I don't know, like I know they said if you stay longer than 90 seconds, it'll stay, whatever happens it end up staying. So when she saw the initial man that freaked her out, she let the hand go. It's like she did it again. Somebody else, it's like it almost felt like you ever seen Ghost? With
You talking about with Patrick
Patrick
Swayze?
Swayze
Yeah.
and Whoopi
Demi
Goldberg when
Moore.
she
Yeah.
and they caught the ghosts and they come to the table like, hey, look, I'm gonna talk to my family now. I want to see how they type. That's what it almost felt like. So it's like different people sitting around this hand trying to. I don't know if it like how that works. Like what pulls this certain person or this certain entity too. So then you got this woman that comes in. And then it goes into it. Like this woman is tormented. Like she like just like a demon. Because you see the like later on when people start doing it, they having fun, they kicking it, they just hanging out. This one, I'll split you, boy. And then the doors opening up, closing. She just talking directly to the boy. Like I wonder what was it that drew her to him.
Right.
But then again, I wonder if it was, I ain't gonna say a desire, but something in her, like to a certain extent, that was looking at him. Because every time it went into you, it went to certain people, and for some reason, for her, it drew her to him. For some reason.
One thing I noticed is that it seemed to affect some people a little bit stronger than others, and maybe that was just like the movie. But I know as we see with the other characters, they seem to like really get possessed much harder. So I'm just curious on like one, what determines like who you see? Like, is it just random, the person, the spirit that comes? Because at first I thought they were seeing people that knew them. I was thinking that, okay, like this person, like maybe this is someone from their past. Because I wasn't even thinking maybe they're not all necessarily dead at first, but maybe they're seeing like evil versions of people that they knew. Like I thought it was a possibility that it was all dead. Because I don't think that I didn't watch any trailers or anything. So I think later on, like it found, I think they did say that they were medium with the dead, but I think going into the movie, I wasn't sure if they were all dead, but I think it did maybe confirm by this point that they were dead. But yeah, like just like why some people are hit a little bit harder than others, and like, what determines what they see. And maybe there's no rhyme or reason. Maybe like, every answer, every question doesn't need to be answered. So I'm cool with that. But that was just something that I was thinking about.
Yeah, I was definitely curious how the rotation of ghosts worked. Because I'm like, do y'all have a ghost line? Do y'all have multiple hands that you go to? Like, is it a long line? Is it like you at Orlando or Disney World? Like, how is it? But I was just curious, and then I was just like, well, can you get the same ghost again? Or is it like once they're there, then they go away? So we didn't really get too much of any kind of details on that. I guess that's probably done purposely. It's just like, y'all, we as an audience don't need to know all of that. But in this scene, when she's about to go under, you see all the kids in there pull up their phones in sync with the flash on. Everybody except for, I believe, Jade. And so I was just like, damn, another scene. It was like Gen Z again, pulling out the phones. Would y'all, I'm not going to ask y'all, would y'all do this? Because I'm pretty sure none of us would probably participate in this kind of activities. But
I ain't saying Bloody Mary.
Yeah, or Candyman. I don't need to be calling the people names. They ain't doing that to me, so I'm going to leave them alone. They're not messing with it. But I guess like if you, let's say you're at a party and it's got a bunch of different events happening in the room and you see some shit like this pop off. Would y'all sit around and see what's about to happen, or would you just be like, "Oh, y'all fucking with spirits. I'm gonna go ahead and head out." To where like you would watch? Okay.
Yeah. Oh wow. I wouldn't participate. Like a Ouija board. Like I draw lines at Ouija boards. So stuff like this where you're actually getting possessed, I wouldn't mess with that because you just don't know what you're letting in. And as these characters found out, but I will watch. Curiosity will probably get the better of me, and I'll probably stay close to the door. And if shit started to get kind of real, I would definitely get out. But I would just see like what's gonna happen, and that's just more so curiosity.
I would have watched the first person, and when she get the run all over, I would have y'all got this. Y'all is crazy. y'all are crazy. I'm calling.
Yeah.
I'm finna call somebody because y'all have lost y'all damn.
I feel you.
And I'm not gonna lie, like in this scene, I love the makeup design that they had once they became possessed. And it's not just the contact, the eyes, but the coloring and the shade around the eyes, the mouth, the nose. It looked so fucking scary. And I love that we were able to see it on various characters of various nationalities. So we saw it on Josh, we saw it on Haley, we saw it on Mia. And so I was just like, oh, this was intense. They had them a bomb ass time. I'm sorry. I wouldn't go into this room at all. I'm not doing none of that. I'm leaving. Even if they be like, oh, you can contact somebody. I'm like, no. They can come holler at me in my dreams. Like, I'm good. I'm not doing nothing with spirits.
Yeah, I'm definitely wouldn't be doing that either. Like, yeah, that was because I don't know, getting possessed like that doesn't look fun. Like, it does not look fun getting possessed. Like, it seemed like that was a traumatic experience.
Right.
You
Bruh,
know?
It did.
Bruh, it's like they was getting high off this or something like.
Yeah. It definitely seemed like it was a drug to them. But let me ask y'all this: like, once they, because obviously Mia had it on too long, so sis was like, "Oh, I'm staying here. Thank you, sis." And so, do y'all feel like when she got out of it, that she was faking enjoying it just to show off for everybody else, or do y'all think she genuinely got a good high off of being possessed?
That's a good question.
Because like her reaction was kind of scared, but then kind of excited. Like she was fake laughing, but she really wanted to cry.
I think you're right, Jazz. I do think that she was exaggerating it because like it seemed like she went there with the intention of fitting in. And like I feel like if she thought that this is the coolest thing at one, if she did it, because I got the sense that also maybe she was seen as like maybe like the scared friend because they were so surprised that she did it. So one, the fact that she did it, and then two, if she had a good time and didn't like wild out like Daniel did, then I think she would be seen as cool. So I do think that maybe she was exaggerating it. I didn't think about that, but that's a good observation. I do think she exaggerated it.
For someone who's been depressed and battling that for a couple of years, I don't know if there was because she, and that's more in the conversation she has with Riley, like the next scene. I felt like, yeah, I think she I think she enjoyed it a lot. Like, I feel like she, I don't know, I can't really explain it, but it's that so like. Have you ever done something that scared the shit out of you, but then you just like, man, I made it through, and I can just laugh about this, like, just like I think it was one of those like one of those situations, like, damn, that was scary, but now that I made it to the other side of it, like that was exhilarating. Like that's it's almost I wouldn't do it, but it's almost like trying to drug. Like they said, they chasing that dragon. Like when you do it, it's like it may be scary, but if you made it through the other side, like damn. And that's how people get caught up in those type of things. Like they try to do it again, and they eventually do it too much, and it's inevitably has a traumatic effect, a more serious effect later down the road.
No, Jason, I agree with that, and I've definitely been in situations to where like something crazy was happening, and then once I'm done, like I'm like, okay, I can laugh about this because it's over, but I wouldn't do it again. Those situations, I can laugh about it because it's done, but if I had to do it again, I'd be nervous. So the fact that she kept doing, but I guess if
I think she's a daredevil. I think like she's a daredevil though. Like she
man,
was so like I said, we skipping around. She got so comfortable with it. She took it home by herself. Nobody around her to protect, help, to tie her down, blow the candle. She did it all by herself. Like that's how bold she got with
actually,
it.
that do kind of make that does kind of make your point because like if she was faking it, she wouldn't have taken it home. But for me, I took that as like she really, really just wanted to see her mom, even if it hurt. That she was trying to contact her mom. That's why I thought she was like faking it just to seem cool with her friends. But then like the grief that she was feeling made her make some really bad decisions. But I guess if she did actually enjoy it though, that would make sense that why she would keep doing it. But I'm not sure if she was doing it. I know she was doing it for her mom, but I don't know if that was like pure enjoyment. So, but you do make a good point though.
Yeah. I actually like both of you guys' outlook on that. It makes me kind of, because I honestly thought she was doing it, she was faking it. But I definitely see what you're saying, Jason, for sure. But now we're back at the house. Riley, he don't like storms. And so he was like, let me go holler at my sister real quick. And she's doing what? In her phone. Jay just don't be caring. Like, at all.
Nope.
And Riley's like, all right, well, fuck you then. And he goes to Mia and he leaves her door open. I'm not gonna lie, that would have pissed me off. Like, if I'm in my bed chilling, you open my door, come in my room, and you're not gonna close my door back. But nobody closed her door back in this movie.
She closed it.
Yeah, and her mom closed it the next day, or her mom left it open the next day.
Oh, you mean like every time they went into the room, they just left it
every
open?
time they just left it open.
I guess they're letting the people in.
Oh shit! All right, I see you. But we pretty much see Riley and Mia. And Mia's discussing like how she was feeling going through that, and we kind of get a foreshadowing moment. Like, how did y'all feel about this scene and this exchange between Riley and Mia?
It was a vulnerable moment. We get some more details into who Mia is or why Mia is. You know, to a certain extent, she keeps having this dream. When she's looking at her mirror, her reflection is gone. You know, like she doesn't exist. And that's when she said, you know, the touching that hand was, you know, it kind of gave her a heightened sense. Like she felt like she was in the passenger seat, but it felt real good. And I feel like it was something that finally gave her a sense of purpose when she didn't have any, to a certain extent. So yeah, that kind of goes more into my point of, I think she really enjoyed it. Like, I think it scared her, like the initial point, and like I think in the initial, like, just going back into that, just go back into that. Her initial, like when she initially did it, it scared the shit out of her. And I feel like at that point she kind of, like, they, you know, peer pressure, like, you chickening out, get her out, get out the seat. Nah, fuck it, I'm gonna do it. I'm going in. Y'all think I'm crazy? Y'all think I'm pussy? Watch this. Like, you know, just proving she can do it. And then once she did it, like, she enjoyed it.
Yeah, I agree with you, Jason. And you took the words out of my mouth that does make your earlier point, that she was empty, and that made her feel something. You know, that made her feel alive, and that even though it scared her, like, this is something that she can live for. This is something that, like, she's gonna do again. And also, I didn't really think about it at the time, but it kind of planted the seeds that she was gonna go too far with it, because, like, it's filling a void. And I also, like, I was thinking about it. I wonder if, like, I know she was doing it a lot more, but I wonder if the spirits were, like, intentionally, like, playing on her. Well, obviously they were, but, like, I wonder, like, if her grief and her depression, I wonder, like, if that made her more vulnerable to the spirits or made them more powerful to latch onto her. I was just watching it because it seemed like everyone's experience was different, and I'm wondering, like, maybe if they were, like, attracted to her grief, because as we see later on, you know, some people were afflicted at, like, a much more harder than others. So I'm just thinking that maybe, like, that depression, like, maybe, like, one that opened the door for her to do it more, like, to fill that void, but maybe they were also able to, like, hit a little bit harder because she had those negative feelings.
Chris, I want to piggyback on that. I think
What's
you're
up?
actually right, because in the opening scene, Docket was upset and he was like, where's grandma? Or like a family member. And his brother was like, she's gone. So and he was going to those things. So where he was grieving for a lost loved one. So actually, I don't think you're too far off on making that analysis at all. So that's a dope point.
And kind of, like, I know I'm jumping ahead, but even with Riley, because their dad isn't in the picture. I think mom said that they were divorced. I think she mentioned that they're divorced.
He called at some point.
Yeah, he does call, but I'm just thinking, because, you know, Riley, you know, he obviously, what happens to him we'll go to next. But maybe, I mean, you know, divorce can really, you know, can hurt kids, and that can be really traumatic for them. Maybe the divorce is what caused him to be possessed so strongly, like his dad not being there.
What
do you think? I'm just kind of guessing, but what do y'all? We'll get there.
You ain't gotta guess that, nigga. You know why he got possessed so bad. He went beyond the 90 minutes, the 90 seconds, way beyond 90 seconds.
Did he go by? I thought just Mia did.
Hell no! She forced him. She held his hand.
That's you're right. That's right.
He wasn't. He was good. No, she did that.
That's right. I forgot all about that. You're right. She did keep to go. Damn shit, yo. We gonna see more, but yo, Mia, like, yo, Like Mia trash, yo. Even while I watched this movie, I'm like, yo, Mia did about like 8 things. I'm like, yo, sister, yo,
8?
you suck.
Shit, I'm at 13. Like, sis was wild. Sis
Yo,
was
she
definitely
trash.
wild.
I totally forgot about that. Yeah, she did let him do it behind. We'll get to that, but let him do it behind his sister's back and then had him do it longer. Yeah, that is why. That's right.
Yeah. But I got a
Me
question
down.
in this. What you say, Jason?
They should have put Mia down or something.
I mean,
She had to put herself down, you know.
yeah.
But I have a question in this scene because you see Mia taking Riley's headphones and cell phone. He's falling asleep, and like she touches his face, or like it's like a hand touches his face.
Mm-hmm.
What the hell was that?
The lady.
Like,
It was the demon, the
Yeah.
same demon that sucked the boy toes. That's what that was.
Yeah, she got
oh,
possessed. Yeah, it had latched onto her.
Because
by
she
that
stayed
point.
in it. She remember she was at 93 seconds. She was like, "Get her out of it! Get her out of it!" So
Mhm.
the demon, that's what it,
Okay.
where it latched
Mhm.
on. And I'm gonna go deeper into Chris, not deeper into Chris' point, but just touch on Chris' point where he said, "I feel like the emotions and the way she was feeling, it stayed in it." Because when Duckett brother was talking about it,
Mhm.
he said, technically, if you just leave it alone, the longer it's staying, the weaker it gets.
Mhm.
But we're looking at the movie was looking at it as in the standpoint of the brother, but we're following Mia in that situation. Like her demon wasn't getting weak because she kept going back into it. Like she
Mhm.
kept going back into that room.
Mhm.
Like she never like truly left it alone or never stopped. Just kept doing.
Oof, man. Well, y'all help me out because I was like, whose hand was that?
Yeah.
But
That was
now
the
knowing
demon.
it,
That
okay.
girl. That's why she's the same woman that was sucking them toes. Yeah, she was.
Sis
She
was
But
was,
that's
she was
a
a
insane.
kinky.
wild story. Listen,
She a
I was
kinky
about to
little
text
boy.
you right in the middle of the theater. I'm like, I gotta text somebody. I think I text you like that night, or maybe it was the next day. But I'm watching this. I'm like, I gotta talk to somebody about this because this is wild. Because she was sucking the fuck out of them. Like she was going in. I ain't never seen no shit like that. She was going in. I'm like, oh my god.
Whole mouth, like. But yeah. So
Yeah,
we
goes down.
we we like they go. Okay, where am I at? We back in school.
Yeah.
I'm remembering that toe sucking scene. But I'm like that energy. That's crazy. But so we got Jade go talk to Haley. Was just like, yo, what you doing tonight? Let's go ahead and get this party. Haley's like, what is in it for me? It's like, so you can have some people to be around. Like, what you mean, bitch? And so they pretty much come up to it. They're going to go to Jade's house. Her mom must be working that night. So it was like, just come to my crib. Because Daniel wants to do it. He all excited. And I'm
Damn,
sitting there
Daniel.
like, damn, Daniel, you don't know what's about to happen to you in a couple of hours. And so it's funny because then you pretty much see the mom open the door. Daniel's at the door and he's like, is Jade home? Immediately slams the door. It's like, what, bitch, you're not about to have no party. Like, how did y'all feel about this exchange? Because I'm not going to lie. Like y'all said earlier, the mother was definitely comic relief. How she was going to all the different kids. So what time is the party? I'm not going to tell nobody. What time is the
She was
party?
trying to figure it out. I feel like somebody, Jade, at one point, did you say you felt like the parents were negligent? It may have been another person I talked to about this. That wasn't you that said that?
No, not
Okay,
me.
because the parents, I feel like the parents did as well of a job as they can as single parents. They both sing. One of them is single and grieving. One of them is single and divorced. So just given how they're having to handle their situations, they were handling it as best as they can. Well, of course, Mia is the most closed off in that situation. Daniel's lying to his parents. It looked like Josh and Haley has the most leniency in their household besides Mia, of course, which that was just all the way wild. Like we us not talking and you being able to live the way you want to, we don't work like that, my girl. Like
she was moving around and had a car.
Yeah.
She didn't have a car.
She's the one who picked up Riley.
I don't know, but who? I'm
Oh
assuming.
yeah, she did pick up Riley.
Who car was that she took though? Because remember, she had to take an Uber later, which because I was trying like, why did she even have to get in the car with Daniel? I'm assuming that was her dad's car.
It could have been, or it could have just been a plot hole. But
No. She Ubered to the hospital.
no, you're right about that. You're right about, but it could have been like that. Could have been they could have messed up having it be her car and then she Ubered. Because they don't explain it, or it could have been her
Okay,
dad's
yeah.
car and they
That's,
just
I'm
didn't
thinking.
explain it.
Yeah, I'm thinking it was like probably the dad's car.
Yeah, and they
And
just
then,
didn't explain it
yeah,
again.
but and then you have like I said the mom. You took it at the mom. Like this mom, they have this open relationship, but of course they still kids. So of course they kind of keep keep certain stuff. And when you was like I didn't sneak people in. I didn't sneak out the house. My mom, she pretty much allowed me to go and come, not at all times of night. But Friday night party going on, yeah, have fun, be safe. Let me know when you make it in. Let me know when y'all make it out. Type situation. So I feel like that was more of her situation here. Like she trusted her kids, but she knew her kids at the same exact time. She knew her daughter was wilding.
He did.
I don't know if negligent. Like I wouldn't describe them as negligent. I feel like to your point with Jade and Riley's mom. I feel like she was doing the best that she could with the situation. Like I think she was a nurse. I think that's what she did. It looked like she had like a hospital because she had scrubs on. So they work long hours, irregular hours. So it just makes sense that like the kids are going to be by themselves for long periods of time. So like that's not negligent. That's just like, you trying the best you can. What Mia's dad was just like, I mean, I feel like he was trying to give her space. So I get the sense that her having the like all that freedom that she had was her dad just giving her space. But I mean, maybe you could say that was negligent, but keeping in context for like everything that was going on, like I think that he didn't want to try to press her. So I wouldn't say negligence. We didn't see Haley and what's the black dude's name? I'm forgetting his Josh. I mean, we didn't see their parents. They obviously like for some reason they seemed older. I know they're not, but just the fact that like we didn't see their parents and they were just doing whatever, they felt like they were a little bit older. That the energy just felt different.
I don't think they all went to school together because like all the other like Jade, Mia, and Daniel, they had uniforms on. Haley was sitting on the top of her car smoking a cigarette.
That's why I felt like they were like 18.
Now her uniform. I said the same thing, but her uniform it matched. It matched like they had on uniform, but it did. She did have a uniform on too.
Oh, okay.
She did. Okay,
now Josh, I don't know where the hell he was at. Now Josh ain't a little older.
Josh definitely like 24.
He that old dude hanging out with high schoolers.
He gotta relax.
Like, that was dudes did that, yo. Like they would be like, yo, like be like in their early 20s hanging out with 15, 16-year-olds. That was a thing. Which I didn't do that. Once I turned 18, I was gone. Like I was already out of high school by then, but it's dudes do that.
Yeah. But so the mom, everybody's playing dumb. What party? I don't know nothing about no party. And the mom is like, Riley, if you have a party night, I'm gonna punch you in the face. Sis, no, you not, because he was already doing it to himself. As we come to find out later. And then she went to Mia. She was like, Mia, if it's a party tonight, you are banned from the house. Mia's like, all right. Everybody played it cool. I'm not gonna lie. They played it really cool. Mom leaves. All right, we going down to the basement. Haley, Josh here, getting everything set up. Now, I'm curious of the tension between Jade and Haley, because you're not about to be smoking in my basement and flicking your cigarette on the floor and not picking that shit up. I'm just like,
she put it out so cool, though.
It doesn't matter how cool it was, Jason. Don't be throwing those cigarette butts on my floor when you're not even supposed to be here. But how did y'all feel about seeing Daniel go through his whole process of getting possessed?
I thought it was funny. Like it was, I think that it was like a good mix of humor with the horror. And I don't feel like it wasn't like slapstick or anything like that. It was just, he was having like a crazy response. And it's almost like you seeing something crazy that's not funny, but like it's still kind of funny about how crazy it is. Because he was like, he was like, they were fucking with him. Seeing him like he's like started making out with the dog.
He was going to town.
Yeah,
he was up on the ground. Then he started kissing. That was a horrible spirit that jumped in him.
Yeah, it was a horny spirit. Because he was gyrating too. Like he was gyrating, like he was correct. He was moaning. And they
Yeah.
played that really well because it was quiet and you could just hear him moaning and like it was real awkward. And I'm in the theater and it was kind of funny just by how awkward it was. And this is when the movie like really like was like, yo, I really fuck with this because they played that awkwardness of it. And then like, and it was embarrassing and like, it was genuinely embarrassing. Like I would feel bad for Daniel if that got posted on YouTube or Twitter and like people are seeing that because it was
Bro,
genuinely embarrassing.
I'm assuming he couldn't throw hands. I would have put hands and feet on Josh. Like that would have been the first person I would. You gotta take the big person out first.
Yeah, you
like
do.
I would have to take him out. Like nah, y'all ain't fit. They laughing. Oh, no, no.
What you mean? Stop. You know damn well if that was Chris, your ass be laughing too and recording.
I wouldn't put my man out there like that.
I
man.
appreciate that. I
mean,
that.
you can still record and not put it out there. You can just have it like on a bad day, like, man, I need me a good laugh. Oh shit, let me pull up that video of Chris over there making out with the dog.
So, like,
yeah, that's crazy.
I don't like when I see my people embarrass themselves. Like if it was another gang of people, like if Jazz, we was out in Tampa, you took us to go see some friends, and it was them. Oh yeah, we gonna keep that. But Chris, I'll delete that off real.
I appreciate that. And honestly, like I get the sense that this really was not a friend group. Like Daniel, like I'm not sure.
It wasn't.
Yeah, so like I don't really feel like that sense of loyalty wasn't there. They definitely didn't fuck with Mia. And then Daniel, I mean, I got the sense they were cool with Jade, but Daniel was just like he was definitely an outsider. So I don't think there was that sense of loyalty at all. But yeah, my people, like I've never seen my people in an embarrassing situation and I'm like, oh, let me record this. Like that's even in high school, I don't know if I would have done that to my friends. Mm-hmm. So that was kind of wild for them to do that. Even with them not being super close, I don't think I still would have done that.
Yeah. And then like pretty much before this, we had discussed this scene where he told Jade he hates when you touch him. And then everybody looking around like, oh shit. It seemed like Jade forgot that whole interaction happened because she was still cool with him. Because I'm not gonna lie, if my bae got possessed and a possession is just like, oh, he can't stand you, I feel like we gotta evaluate our relationship. I can't just pretend like that didn't happen.
I'm gonna get some of the lies out, baby. That was a demon. That wasn't me.
That is an easy lie to tell. Even if
that was a demon. You know, I'm a young Christian brother. That ain't got nothing to do with me. I don't know. You know, I didn't want to partake in the fun. I allowed it to possess me, but I don't feel none of the feelings that they saying. Come here, let me. Now we can get here. Like, yeah.
But that's something that they should have talked about though.
Yeah,
like the fact that they glossed it over, like that's kind of wild. That like, and the fact that they hadn't kissed at all, and he says
Chris
that
is still on that.
Because I'm saying that's wild. Like, that's wild to me. That's just
Chris,
wild.
Like, I'm a first dater. I kiss off the first date, nigga.
I was just talking to Jade about that, yo. Like first date. Listen, yo,
we hit it off. Who's Jade?
Jazz? My bad, Jazz. I was talking to Jazz. We were talking about that at Comic-Con. Like, yo, first date. Like, if we hit it off, yeah, we kissing. You know, like
if she's okay with it.
Of course, yeah, of course. Thank you for that caveat. If she's okay with it, of course.
We protect our sisters, man. Here, we got to make sure.
Nah, that's right. No, you're right. Nah, you're right though. Like, if she's okay with it, if the vibe is there, if there's agreement, we'll kiss her. You know. So a relationship, like they, haven't like kissed, and he says he hates when he touched you, and you gonna gloss over that, like. I mean, he could probably get away with anything then, honestly.
He did. He looked at her best friend and was licking his lips and moaning and rubbing on himself.
And she was loving that shit.
Yeah,
yeah. Jay, look, Mia was sitting there like, oh yes, I done had this before. I'm going after it.
Hey, it made me think of remember Don't Be a Menace when Marlon was in the back of the mail truck with the girl and she turned to a demon.
It's kind of wild that like she didn't even bring that up to Mia, that like the demon said this, and then like, and I guess she didn't see like her expression. The audience did, but I'm guessing she didn't see her expression.
Oh no, she's seen it. She blew the candle.
She did.
Soon as she said, "Oh no, I'm blowing it. Party over."
Let me close this door. Let me close the door.
Like that's kind of wild though. But so she did see like, cause she had a little smirk on her face.
Mia had a smirk on her face.
Yeah, Mia did have the smirk.
The scene the camera cuts right over to Jade. Jade looks at her and she's like, and then she jumps up and she blew that candle out as soon as she seen that.
He must have got on stiff and she was like, oh hell no. Oh hell no. But Nah, this seemed like with the dog kissing him and everything.
Yeah.
Well, straight tongue, and I'm just sitting here
Mm.
like, damn. And it was funny because even with the demon saying all of that, Jade was still the first one to go help him get up. Because I would have left his ass on the floor.
Yeah, now Jay, I mean, I feel like, but she is Daniel. She gotta, she been riding for him the first 30 minutes of the movie. She better keep riding for Daniel.
She ain't riding nothing, Jason. We already figured that out.
I said riding for. Riding for.
Look.
Jazz said 3 months.
Yeah. Nah, that's a good time.
I would have felt something.
Yeah, all right. So the next scene. Yeah. But then you see like Mia's like, all right, me next. And Jada's like, didn't you see what just happened? And then Mia was smart. Mia was like, all right, so get the dog out of here. Everybody put your phones up. How did y'all feel about this montage? Because I'm not gonna lie, this was my favorite scene of the movie. The montage of them actually having a good time, because I forgot this was a thriller. Because I'm not gonna lie, watching this movie, it was a roller coaster, because I'm sitting here like 1 minute I'm laughing, 1 minute I'm like, oh shit. And then another minute I'm like, oh, you gonna scrap or no? So I'm like going through an emotional reaction or roller coaster during this entire film. But because I'm over here jamming with them as they was fucking with ghosts. Like, I'm like, that's not my vibe, but I'm like, oh, y'all knew they hit.
Yeah. So I mean, first, like that was this how many strikes we had with Mia?
She got like 10. She close to 10.
This is a strike.
Yeah, she up there.
This number 5. This is a strike because you just seen some BS just happened with dude on the ground with the dog. You want to play with you want to go into it like, nah, that was him. Let's turn up. Like, nah, we that's a strike. That would have been a strike, and I would have been just like Jade. That would have been the end for me for that night. Like, that would have been it. Did Daniel come back and play again?
He did.
Eventually, yeah, he did.
Yeah, like that would have been a wrap for me personally. But that one time, like you said, Jazz, they was kicking it, and you could tell, and like they know they're being possessed because it's something they got so comfortable they stopped wearing the belt. Like they were just in the room, they falling. Well, no, they had the belt on, but they was falling over and getting back up, and then falling again.
That shot was dope. That shot of Daniel, like going from one side to the next, I love that camera angle. I thought that was so cool. Like the different shots of seeing them reacting, having a good time. It's like, okay, I'm liking these characters. Made me forget, like, actually, I want some of y'all to die.
During this montage, like I was enjoying it too, but I was like, okay, like I know the shoe is gonna drop, but like, where's this movie gonna go? Because I know at some point shit is gonna go left, but it's like they having a good time, and I didn't know like what exactly was gonna happen. So I feel like this montage worked because it's like, okay, like this is like kind of light, it's fun, but we know this shit is still dangerous, but what's gonna happen? So I think it was definitely needed, and it worked really, really well, because like they having a blast, and it seemed like there was like tension, or at least like characters didn't like each other, but then they started to like each other. Like Haley like was having a good time, Daniel, he came back in, Jade and Mia, this seemed like there could have been like some beef, but they are having a good time. So everything is cool, like a bunch of people who otherwise wouldn't be friends, they came together and they having a good time with each other. So I definitely saw that like this group of people hanging out together, now it makes sense. Because at first it kind of didn't, but now it makes sense because they having this good time.
Now you see that, I guess a spirit hand can bring people together?
Yeah.
Is that what you mean?
I mean, we got a few hands that do that. Adam's family, Hand, he brings some shit, well, not Hand, but Thing. He brings
you call him Hand. That's
my
crazy.
My bad, bro. I ain't mean to. Don't do spit. Don't come choke me out when I'm asleep tonight. Idle Hand, he was kind of bringing people.
Okay.
He was killing people.
Okay.
Idle Hand was killing people.
But yeah, and within this, we find out where the hand comes from. He said it was an actual hand of a satanist, or a medium.
He is a medium
that was cut off, and they put ceramic. They put ceramic around it. I'm like, why would you want to walk around with that in your backpack?
Yeah, and maybe because I know y'all probably saw, but a sequel has been announced. So maybe that gets addressed on who the medium was. and like why their hand was cut off and why people are just chilling and hanging out with it, and how Docket was it Docket is the brother or
It was Duckett, but yeah, that's
Ducket, okay, yeah, how they came into possession of it. So I feel like it it definitely set it up well.
I'm gonna be honest. We don't need none of that. We don't need none of that. I don't
You,
need
you
no
don't want that?
backstory on this hand. I just want to know if there's more.
hands.
Yes, that's it.
I agree. Because they couldn't be the same hand.
It can't just be one unless you got somebody walking around with one hand looking for the extra one.
I'm
But
assuming they're dead. I'm assuming.
We could,
that
but
we
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
it
what
could
I
be a
was
situation,
thinking.
is it the left hand, right hand? That's a good question.
Yeah, and like the other hand, but I'm assuming that the medium is dead. That's what I thought. I could be wrong, but that's
I
what I
mean,
thought.
if they got a good cut, a good smooth cut,
You can
and then
definitely live without
you
the
can
hand
definitely
for
live.
sure. Yeah.
But then I don't even know if I would want that in the sequel. I want to get the point of view from the ghost side
Mm.
a little bit, but not that I don't want that to be the center of it. But I don't know. But we're getting a sequel. Jason, do you feel like they left any breadcrumbs in the first film to help in the second film?
No, I was mad about this. You know I was mad about this. I said stop talking to me. That I wanted them to end it. I told you that. You knew that. Well,
I wanted
but the
them.
people that know, no, I do not want a sequel. I enjoyed this movie. I mean, no, I did not want a sequel. No.
So
No,
you're
no.
anti-sequel now.
It's not anti-sequel, but like some stuff I just feel like everything's not deserving of it to a certain
I feel
extent.
that.
Like there's like if it was a slasher type thing, then maybe. But it's not even a slasher. You going into like spirits and entities. Like
Yeah.
I seen Insidious 4, which I do feel like that was a really dope way to do kind of like what you're saying, Jazz, when you touch on where this actually started and where it landed. Like I can see how they can do that, but I don't know.
So
Mhm.
I'm sorry, Chris. Let me jump in.
Go
here
ahead. Go
real
ahead. Go
quick.
ahead. Do your thing. You seem ready.
You was really excited when they was talking about a sequel, A Smile was coming out, which is dealing with ghosts and goblins and shit. You was excited for that. So
Me?
now, Jason, you were excited when they said we're going to do a sequel to Smile, which I recently rewatched. Is still fucking trash. So you telling me a movie this good does not or should not get a sequel, but you thought that bum shit? You were
I can
excited?
see. I mean, like Smile. Like I understand why Smile would have a sequel.
Why?
To a
The
certain
first
extent.
one wasn't good.
In
And
your
Chris, I know.
in
Chris,
your
I know
opinion, it wasn't good.
Okay,
in
yeah,
your opinion,
right. In my
which I
opinion,
respect that. But for me,
the marketing was better
the-
than the movie.
the movie, the elements of horror that they use, the different types of fear that they use in there, I really enjoyed that. Like that'd be a dope. Like they went through like the paranoia, like just the different modes of scare. Like they did that was pretty dope.
Is it a reach for me to say you like sequels to trash movies and you don't want sequels to movies that were actually really good because you don't want the sequel to fuck it up?
Maybe that may be fair. That could be fair. That could be fair. Like I mean, so like if it's an action movie, I like those sequels, and I really do enjoy them. Like
I immediately went to Fast, Furious, and all.
I
that.
know. I enjoy them. Like,
okay.
Jason, did you like Smile 1, the first one?
I enjoy Smile.
Yeah, I liked it too. Like I actually I liked it a lot, but I don't think it needs a sequel. To me, I feel like Smile ended, and like that's a movie to where if there's a sequel, I think that the sequel could be really bad. I think with Talk to Me, I feel like there's more room for a sequel with the Talk to Me 2, or even a prequel. But sequel, I just feel like it ended. Like that's truly one to where like it's done, and I feel like it's only getting a sequel just because the first one made money. But I'm with you.
Look, they did what was they did X and then they did Pearl.
Yeah.
And like why I do pick X over Pearl. Pearl was a damn good movie. Like just as far as just seeing somebody act as crazy as Mia Goth did, just in her role, see how she got to where she was in X. If they can give me something like that, I'd be like, all right, I'm rolling.
Are you talking about with Smile or with Talk to Me?
talk to me. I'm not
Okay.
smile.
Okay.
Smile is just like I said. It makes sense. Like it reminds me of The Ring. Like it's like it didn't. This didn't end, so somebody else gonna pick it up. And I mean, clearly he watched somebody pass away, and that's how you
Yeah.
pass it. So it didn't end. It's going to
Yeah.
continue. We know that.
But with me though, with sequels, like I don't. So technically, it could just be okay. The next person, it could be the same story just retold. And I don't really want that from a franchise. Like this Smile, I enjoyed it, but I don't want to see it just like oh boy saw, I can't remember their character's name, but her ex fiance saw her die, and now it's going to be his turn. Unless there's going to be some sort of resolution or like something new being told, or if it's something new, I just don't want to see the same story told. Like horror movies do, where it's the same thing in just a different setting with new characters. So that's what I'm kind of like a little bit iffy on.
All right. So before it's like to wrap this point up, let's throw out a sequel that told the same story, or to a certain extent told the same story. Final Destination. Does that meet that realm? Because I mean, it's somewhat told the same. I mean, it went from the plane to a car wreck, but I mean, to a certain extent, it's the same. It's just death coming for people that
I would say Final Destination. That's tough because that movie, it tied so much into the first film with the references.
Gotcha.
So I will say a movie that has a sequel.
Saw 2? No, because that's
the first three tell a story. Yeah, the first three is definitely yeah.
If it can tell a story, it's the storytelling that makes it.
Yeah.
Because if you're basically giving me, like Chris said, the same story, just different characters, but the characters in the second one get more information because they got 5 extra minutes than the people in the first film, then it's like, what? So I'll say like Final Destination 3. In my mind, even though it kind of ties to the first two because they reference it didn't have any kind of connection.
Yeah.
Final Destination 2 connected way more in Final Destination 1 than 3 did the first two. So
okay, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. So I would say just something like that. Like if it's continuing the story, yes. But
see me, I would say Final Destination. See, I think that does fit that example where it's kind of the same story, just different setting, because they do reference it back, but you can kind of just like work references in. Now, the 5th one does connect to the first one. It's a prequel, but to me, it's not really a story. Like if you look at Final Destination 1 through 5, it's not really telling like a story from start to end. There's no resolution. To me, it's not like it's not a story. It's just like, almost you could look at it like it's almost just different episodes. So I feel like those are sequels that are just like popular, fun movies. And it's like, we just want to see like how gory and gruesome it is. Because at no point did none of the characters win. Like, we don't really figure out how this happened, to my knowledge. I've seen Final Destination, but I'm not it's not my favorite franchise. Yeah, they all die at the end, and no one ever figures out like how this happened. So it's really not a story. Like if you were reading, if it was a book, it would kind of be the same thing over and over. It'd be the same 20 pages, just different characters. So to me, that's an example of like sequels that don't move a story forward. But Final Destination is fine.
But I would say with Final Destination 2, they wouldn't have been on that highway if the events of the first one didn't happen.
Because everybody was supposed to be on the plane, right?
Yes. Well, no, they were supposed to be at different events. So hypothetically, one of the characters in 2 was supposed to die on the train wreck. But the thing is, it got delayed because of one of the characters in the first one died.
Oh, okay.
So that's why I say
that's right. Because the guy was on the bus that the sign slapped the dude.
Yes, and he was supposed to be somewhere else. So that's why I say Final Destination 1 and 2, they're woven into each other. But Final Destination 3, they just reference Alex from the first one. And then it was like all these different articles, but there's nothing in Final Destination 3 to make you think those characters were in that situation because they were supposed to die prior due to something from the first 2 films. And Saw is basically the same way.
Well, I think Saw does that like after 3 because the first 3 are a story.
We're not talking about Saw because that's the worst story I've ever seen.
It get convoluted.
What's that? Star Wars. Saw said, "Hold my beer. I'm going to beat you." And telling the story over and over, and I'm going to jump through the history and going to add more facts to this and make you go back and be like, "Oh,
I mean, they pulled a Lion King 1.5.
No, they pulled a Lion King 1.2. They went
Yeah.
they went as closest they went as closest to it like every time. But
Yeah, every movie adds something different to the storyline, but the first three like are kind of like are like they are pretty straightforward
oh
story.
yeah, no, it's a
Yeah,
story. The first three are the first story,
yeah.
like
But
an
after
actual
that,
story.
it get confusing. It get hard to
Yeah.
follow, and it's like because like things get added, and it's like I can tell that they weren't sure that this movie was gonna get past three films, and it's like, oh fuck it, it's still making money. Let's just keep doing it, and we'll just
That's
add
it.
shit as we go.
The first one made enough. The first one made enough money to push to finance the first three. The
Hmm.
second one made enough to finance the rest of the
Yep.
movies. They're relatively cheap to make.
Mhm.
But let's get back to the talk today. That was a nice little horror
Yeah,
tangent.
yeah, yeah. We did.
I think we was here. We got to the actual conflict of the movie.
Fuck them kids. Riley should have stayed home. Oh, well, he was at home. Never mind. He should have been in his room.
No.
Okay, so we can.
Mia need to mind her
Yeah.
motherfucking business, bitch.
Yeah, she should have stayed out of their business.
She's pretty much to blame. Like,
Yeah.
I don't care how much
Pretty
you're
much.
begging me.
She is to blame.
Yep.
Okay, yeah. Let's hold her accountable. It's Mia's fault.
Hmm.
And this scene was wild because as we see Riley go under, Riley was shook when he saw who the ghost was.
Did y'all know who it was? Because
Who was it?
I
Oh,
knew
who was it?
I mean, I
It
felt
was
like
his mom. It was her mom.
It was her mom.
Oh,
He just didn't
oh.
say anything because
Oh,
I
okay,
think he
okay.
was. I think he was so shocked because he just sat there, and I was like, "Well, everybody been seeing fucked up people all night, so
It
you
fucked him all the
probably
way up.
because he saw somebody he knew."
Hmm.
So, and he stopped, and when he looked at Mia, I'm like, Mia should have. Who you see? Because I feel like he would have told her, but she was like, "Just say the words. Just say the words." And he closed his eyes, and he said the words. How do y'all feel about how this entire?
I wonder if they put like, what was her motive? What was the mama's motive? I feel like it was something like, so more into what you were saying, Chris, like something was playing on her and pulled her into that. I feel like they once they got her, they was really trying, like, I don't know if her mom was trying to get her to come where she was or what was going on with it. Cause I don't think that was random. Like, you think that, and maybe that's where number two can go in. Like, how do, what determines for these certain people? Is it just, like you said, is it just a real of niggas that's just in the room ready to come up? Just like, because I don't know.
Do y'all think that was her mom?
No, I don't. So I watch a lot of demon movies, and I know this doesn't necessarily apply here. But one of the things that in all the other demon movies that I see is that demons lie, but they give you just enough truth that they don't know what's a lie and what's not, and they know your buttons to push, and they know what will send you over the edge, and they can say things that can trigger you. So I think that with Mia, they knew that her mother was a trigger. They knew that she was susceptible and vulnerable, so they knew if they showed her something that she wanted to see, they could manipulate her. So I don't think it was her mom, because
I think it was.
You think it was her mom?
I think it was her mom, just based on the stuff that they were saying. Because she remember the possession was saying stuff that they didn't know, unless it was a situation where they was pulling in because they were still in her. Maybe the ghost that was in her was feeding information to the other people.
That's what I think.
And I'm not mad. And more that we talk about it, maybe we do need it to. Maybe it is. Maybe they can explain how they knew this. But I feel like it was her mother. Like her mother came back to speak to her to get that last, because just like with her, and we see at the end when she goes back into it, I feel like it was a person who wasn't, not necessarily done with the situation, but I don't know.
But then also, why would her mother do that? Like your original question, what's the motive? Why would her mom manipulate her and get her to do the things that she's done? Like, what's the end game here? Because her mom, to her knowledge, seemed like a good mom. So why in death
like Bird
would she fuck with her?
Like on Bird Box. You seen that?
Yeah, oh yeah. When they
Barcelona.
No, I haven't seen Barcelona yet.
Watch that movie and then we can discuss it. I feel like it's the same situation because I think it plays a little bit in that. I feel like after, because when he's sitting there, everybody in the room is seeing it. So it's not just her going through her moments. Because at the end, we don't know what's real, what's not, what she's seeing, what's versus what's real. We don't know that. But right now, we know for a fact this is what's actually happening. They just like, wait, they tripping. We need to get this. We need to cut it. But she stops it from happening. So to a certain extent, like I feel like her mom was. I don't know what her mom angle was in that situation. Like if it, or maybe in that situation it was to put killing him would have protected her.
Protected her from what though?
She was. I mean, I feel like she was dying. Like I feel like she was actually the one that was supposed to have died. Like I feel like whatever the spirit was that jumped into him though. Like it. I don't know. Like I don't know what that leech was that got into him. Because if it was her. Because technically, it should have been the mama that was inside of him.
You would think,
right? But they didn't even show us his demon. They didn't show anybody other demons outside of hers.
But wouldn't it be her mom though? Because her mom.
That's what I'm saying. It should have been. It should have been like it should have been the mom every time.
So that kind of makes me think that wasn't her mom then.
I'm not mad at that though.
Because my thing is,
it was
Because I guess like okay. So whoever is in you,
we need a reason to keep. We need a reason to keep him for 90 seconds. Maybe that was the angle.
That seemed like a stretch though. And I only say that because it's just like, okay, so the ghosts know the rules. They got the same email that we got. It's like 90 seconds or
not
you
an email.
Stay. So, but then it's just like that's bold because they don't know me. I guess they don't know, like, okay, if we pretend to be Mia's mother, we're going to be able to stay in him longer because she's going to stop or she's not going to make them stop the possession. Like that, it was a few questions. I was like, that seemed like I wasn't exactly sure what they were trying to do. So that's why I'm thinking if it was her mom, I would think that mom was the one that was possessing Riley, but then she just snapped because she was first like acting like she was talking to Mia, but then you got Riley crying, and then that's when he just snapped and started fucking up his head.
And it kind of
somebody else came in,
and it kind of don't make sense for a fake Mia's mom to be seen to Riley.
That's another thing.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
Down under the whole time.
Yeah, so that kind of doesn't make sense then that it wouldn't be. But then also, why would he see her mom in the first place?
And why was she able to see her mom as well if she had somebody else that was possessing her? So I'm thinking, do you only get possessed like one? Or is it like a couple? Like, can they run a train on your entire soul that you like to where it's a bunch of y'all in there?
Is it run the train on your soul?
That's crazy. But like,
I don't know what they can do because I'm just thinking like you were seeing your mom after Riley.
Yeah.
The whole incident.
And
so.
But then the other part of that is once you let it in, it's out of whatever word is in that reality. But it's weird because I don't know why it had to be her though. That's why she was moving around. It had to be like she couldn't see her reflection, but seeing her mom's. Like, because with her, remember her demon. Once we seen it, it came back because it was sucking 4 toes. And then in the sons, like we never seen. Well, he had, but his demon was the old lady. Fuck.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I think that was. Okay. I think that's a plot hole.
Maybe
it do sound like a plot hole.
Maybe I needed to. God damn it! I don't talk myself into it too.
If it's gonna have plot holes like this, I'm like, y'all must have got drive-by. Because like that's a crazy plot hole to me. You know what I mean?
But you remember on just kicking it back to the ghost because that's when I mentioned the man was in there talking to his people. And the man said, "Man, get the fuck out of here, man! I want to." He pushed the man out, and he just jumped into his purse. He was like, "Bro, don't you ever do that? Nah, fuck that." And she shut it down. Like, you're not. If I'm talking to somebody, you don't move me to jump into it. So maybe but that it should have been shown. It don't. They left a lot up. They left a lot for imagination as opposed to showing. Show me, don't tell me.
But then also, let me piggyback on that. And I know we're jumping ahead, but hell, we already let y'all know it's a spoiler alert. When Mia went to go try to talk to Riley, it was a little girl sitting on his damn bed.
That's the other thing.
So
it was.
I'm like,
Is she
I
an
guess they
angel?
are running a train on your spirit, like
Yeah, but
because
also,
they just going in and out of you.
I mean, clearly they were running the train. We seen them in that
yeah,
video.
yeah,
They were really going. They were going
they was
crazy
fucking
on him.
him up.
They were going to town on him.
Yeah, that boy was getting fucked up.
And he was not having a good time.
Nah, he was not. Like, yeah, he
That was
was
like
not.
That was like the Hellraiser people.
Yeah, and maybe it's because because it was in him so much longer. Because even they went back and did it again. So maybe the longer like
But they
you
was
do
in.
it,
Remember, that was in Mia the longest. Mia had did it a few nights before he even played with the thing, and she had been a well over the time.
and that's why I'm curious on like what determines like who gets impact, like who gets hit the hardest. Because even with that, I still feel like Daniel, for the amount of time that he did it, he kind of got fucked up. Like he was wilding, and when they were showing the videos of the people who had like gotten possessed before, none of them seemed to be doing the shit he was doing. So like, was it because he's really religious? Did Riley get fucked up because he's young and because he had it on so long and they did it multiple times? Like I just don't know the rules. And I'm okay with them not answering every single question. And maybe some of these things aren't necessarily plot holes, but maybe they are setting up for a sequel. But the only thing that makes sense is that this was her mom and it was just an evil version of her mom. That's the only thing that makes sense based on, at least in my opinion, based on what we've seen so far.
I think it played. I think it played a lot on the people, like you said. But back on your other point, when you said like the emotional part, like the emotional depressed person, it played on them because if we go back to the brother in the beginning, he was going through that.
Yep.
And it was like, and that's it took him down through there. Like it was taking him down. And Mia is closer to him than anybody else in the friend group. Those people, they was just kicking it. They was having fun.
Yeah.
XYZ. Daniel had a freaky situation, but then they start having their own little different stuff when the people was doing just different things. So.
And to that point, Jason, I'm not sure if y'all thought this too, but I got the sense that the brother in the beginning, he seemed like he was maybe like an outsider, or like I just picked up that energy that he wasn't seen because he wasn't popular. So, and I'm kind of like guessing here, but maybe since he wasn't popular, people didn't know him, that maybe he was unhappy, sad too. I just in the beginning, I just got that energy. So maybe like that unhappiness.
The brother talks about that when they link back up with him. Just how his brother was an outsider.
That's right. That's
he
right.
He was just trying to please y'all and whatnot.
That's right. Okay, they did say that. So like, yeah. So I guess that just going back with that, I guess people who are just unhappy that they're just more susceptible to that energy. And I guess just with Riley, he just got fucked up because he did it for so long, and then Mia had the bright idea of doing it again.
And I mean, also we come to find out like when Jade and Riley got into their little argument, Jade put his business out there like that. She was just like, "You would just want to do this for James, so then you can come cry in my room." Like she basically called him a bitch in front of everybody. And
that's some sibling shit, though. That's sibling shit, though.
Nah, not in front of everybody. Like we gotta fight.
Well, no, siblings fight though.
Yeah, we gotta fight in front of everybody.
Hands, shoulders, knees, and toes.
Yeah, they fight. I mean, I wasn't like to me, I just took that situation as that's some brother sister argument. But yeah, siblings be fighting, y'all. They be fighting like dogs sometimes. So, and especially at that age. And I mean, she probably shouldn't have said that, but she probably wasn't necessarily. Well, he was just trying to fit in. He just saw them doing something cool, trying to fit in. I wouldn't necessarily say that he was a follower, because didn't he turn down the cigarette in the beginning? He didn't smoke the cigarette.
He did.
So he could turn them down. So he wasn't trying to fit in, like just with him.
Just because he don't want to smoke a cigarette doesn't mean he doesn't want to fit in. Cigarettes is nasty.
No. I feel that, but like I guess if he had smoked the cigarette too, do something he didn't want to do, then I feel like that would be more evidence that he was just trying to please his friend. But the fact that he told his friend no, well, even though his boy was peer pressuring him, I feel like he was trying to fit in with the older kids. He just wanted to be seen cool with him, not necessarily James specifically. So I think she was just being me. I think she was just trying to like piss him off.
Seeing that he relates a lot to Mia, yeah, I agree. I agree 100%. Like because him and Mia seem like they more closely relate. Him trying to fit in like she did with them, and seeing how she is around their group now, as opposed to what she was at the beginning. Yeah.
But even with that though, I think that he just younger than them. I get the sense he was no older than 14.
He was 15.
Yeah, he was 15. Okay, so
17,
then
I feel like because he said y'all not even 18 yet.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess that's old enough to fit in, but I felt like it was more of an age thing than them thinking that like he was like corny or like awkward or anything like that. Like I didn't necessarily pick that energy up. He just seemed like a 15-year-old boy to me.
But he did put his sister on blast, talking about you just trying to get Daniel dick. Like, come on now.
And then you don't want to give it to her.
He's too busy trying to give it to Mia.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
As we all saw, except for Jade. She put her Bird Box blinders on and was just like, nah, I'm not seeing my man go a little excited for my best friend over here. But we pretty much see what happens to Riley. And the fact that they're not able to get the hand off of him, and then his chair slides across the door.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I'm leaving. I'm not calling nobody.
Mm-hmm.
This just doesn't seem like the kind of atmosphere I'd want to be in, because I'm like, the lights be going out, the doors be closing, but this is cool. Like, it's just Poltergeist mixed with The Exorcist at a house party. Like, how did y'all feel about this scene and seeing what actually happened to Riley and the gore?
The gore is what surprised me.
Yeah.
Yeah, the gore, I wasn't expecting that, because you don't typically see kids get like fucked up like that. Because he's 15, so especially kids younger than that, but I wasn't expecting to see a 15-year-old that kind of gore.
Yeah, he hit his head hard.
Yeah.
On that table.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie, I thought he was dead.
I did too.
He got a hard head. Cause damn. And the fact that
he was busting the shit out that mother.
Yeah, y'all.
He was trying to outdo the dude in Hereditary.
Yes. Oh, okay. That is one of their works. And another scene. I didn't even think about that scene, because I think the one in Hereditary, he just did it once.
He just broke his nose, right? Like, he didn't really like disfigure himself.
He did it in real life though. So I mean, I don't know how many times you're gonna slam your head down like that. But.
He did do that. I remember reading that was like a real scene. But I think in the film he just did it that one time. Because it was a real thing, but like he just broke his nose. But Riley, he got fucked up. Like, his face is like disfigured.
Yeah, no, Riley's crazy.
Yeah.
It was bad. This scene made me cringe a little bit.
Yeah, same. I was like, ugh, stop, bro, stop. Like, please get. And then
he wasn't.
Yo, and this is one. Hold on, they had like a slow reaction time. He was hitting himself, and I remember thinking that, I'm like, yo, are y'all gonna do anything? Because there was a time where they were just watching him, and I felt like they were in shock. And I just remember in the theater, I'm like, yo, like, stop him. And I think
they grabbed him, and the chair slid across the room.
And then when it slid across the room, they just watched. So maybe it was shock that this shit happened, but there was a moment where he was hitting himself and no one moved.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, y'all need to do something, but everyone panicked.
They was drinking and smoking. Like, delayed reaction was.
That was how ghosts.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I get that was like a freaky situation and they weren't expecting that, but I just remember thinking, like, he hit himself a couple of times before someone moved. And I don't think it wasn't until, what was he about to do?
He slammed his head against the corner of that table.
On the corner.
And Jade put her hand out there.
Yeah.
And I think he broke her hand or fractured it or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I just remember thinking, like, yeah, there was like a couple times where I'm like, yeah, somebody could have got him. Or at least tried to beforehand when this chair moved. But yeah, this was not a fun time. This is when shit. This is not. When that chair moved, I'm like, yo, shit is like, this is not fun at all.
Nah, this scene was crazy. It was very unexpected, because I don't know how I would have reacted if I saw that damn table or his chair go across that room the way it did. And I like when his head hit Jade's hand, I said, "Oh, sis." And then here you go, got Mia. This bitch like, let me go upstairs real quick.
She never she never nothing. I guess she was in shock. Her mom, she had talked to her mom.
Yeah, that's true too.
She apologized,
I guess,
for what she did.
And then behind, like, as she's trying to realize everything, you see Haley and Josh behind her. Panic mode. They just like, we gotta call the cops. Like, what's they're trying to get their story together. And this is another scene where the camera focuses on Mia, and you see Josh and Haley in the back. They're blurred out, but you can hear their audio of what they're saying. So I thought that was definitely cool. And so the police are here, and the mom said, and then you hear Jade calling her mom like, Riley hit his head on the table. She's like, bitch, what you mean he hit his head on the table? Like, she said no parties. And then you call her at work. Your son is.
You ain't gotta tell her about no party. You say it has people over. You know, he hit his head.
Wait. Would that have been what you done? Like, yo, y'all go ahead and leave?
I would have sold everything. Yeah, they playing with demons, devils, as Jay. Oh, they've been playing with the devil, mama.
At this point in time, like getting in trouble about the party, that's got to be secondary. Like whatever happens, like I'd be like, yo, fuck that. Like, yo, I'm just gonna come clean.
I would have definitely was like, let me go get my Bible from upstairs and be like, I thought we were doing Bible study tonight, and I thought they was praying. Like
it was praying. Somebody was praying. There was two types of praying.
Yeah, but they wasn't praying to God.
Yeah, the demons was praying, and they was praying on them.
It was wild for sure. But then we see Mia sees her mom, or like an image of her mom as she's going up the steps. And so pretty much trying to process all of that and talking to the cops. And it was just Mia talks to her dad, because after her mother was just like, told her like, nah, I wasn't trying to take myself out, sis. I ain't trying to leave you. She confronts her father about like, you've been lying to me. At this scene, like, how did y'all feel about the dad? Did y'all think he was probably hiding something? Because Chris, I know that you mentioned something earlier, possibly cheating, but you didn't think that he would have had anything to do with the mother's passing.
At this point, by this time, I didn't think that it was cheating by this point. But I thought that actually I did think that maybe he did play a hand in the mom's death, because like I was like, okay, this energy has to be coming from somewhere. This animosity. So did he play a part in it? Did he do something? Was he supposed to be there with her mom and he wasn't? So I was like, okay, what were the exact circumstances? But where the film actually went, I thought that it was a nice touch. But at this point, I'm like, okay, maybe like he is hiding something, and maybe he isn't, like maybe he is kind of the bad guy. That was kind of where my head was at this point.
Okay. What about you, Jason?
So he finally came into focus in this scene, but I mean, so with this, I mean, I don't know. Like I said, because she's still the same exact person we met her. Nothing has changed about her. Now she would have been on punishment, something, I guess, as far as when it comes like what your mom passed away, we going through this your best friend brother, you there. Head busted, you not talking, like, nah, we could have talked about something. We could be talking about something.
Yeah.
We're going to jail tonight. Something. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah. And I guess during that time, they just like, he had an episode. Even though the kids know what happened. But you can't tell the authorities he was possessed by a ghost. So, and then we see them at the hospital. And so we get a picture of Riley. The visuals of this was insane. He was all the way fucked up. Like, I was like, damn, y'all. Damn. And so Daniel is just like, hey, yo, bitch. Nah, I'm playing. He was like, Jay, come outside, because Mia was at the hospital and Mia wants to see Riley. Would y'all have let her see him?
No, I would have been pissed. I would have been so mad.
I would have already told what happened. That would have been out. Mama, that bitch is the devil. No, she cannot come in here.
Yeah, she definitely didn't need to be there.
Right. Yeah. And then the mom came out and fussed at her too. She just like, what did you do? Yeah. I mean,
she didn't know the full story though, at this point though, right? She thought that they were doing drugs. Is that what she said? She thought they were doing drugs.
She knows that like Mia has a history of doing drugs.
Yeah,
she's just like, what did you give them?
Yeah. She thought that they got high or something. Which at this point, I'm like, why don't just tell the truth? But again, I guess that's teenagers, that they're gonna lie until it don't make no sense at all, then lie some more, and then finally come around to it. Because that story that like that Jade was letting them run with, it was like, damn, I know she fucked up, but you gonna let them think that she just got this boy high. So it's funny. The mom needed to be mad at Mia, but not for the reasons that she actually was mad at her at. But if she knew the truth, she still needed to be mad. That's why I didn't feel bad for Mia at this time, thinking that like it was drugs. Because like honestly, like well, both would have been bad, but she was in the wrong for letting him do that in the first place. So mom should have been mad regardless, and she would have been mad regardless.
Right. I mean, if somebody told you a ghost was possessed this kid and made him slam his head on the table, would you believe him?
I say do it again.
I probably wouldn't have believed it. But once I heard from my daughter, like I feel like that was Jade's responsibility to let the mom know like what happened. And I feel like once she hears it from the daughter that they were playing a game and that she told Riley no, and that Mia went behind her back, then she obviously would have known that something was happening, and that regardless of whether you believe this or not, Mia was in the wrong. So, but yeah, Jade, she should have told her mom like from the jump, in my opinion.
Right. And so they was like, yeah, Mia, you're not about to see him. Go on, bitch. Go on. And so like, or excuse me, Mia's not able to see Riley. So Mia's walking around the hospital and she sees another image of her mom. And she goes into the bathroom. So she's chasing ghosts now. I'm not gonna lie. After seeing what happened to Riley, I probably wouldn't have went into that bathroom like nah.
Just so
like
really
that, it was just like a wild episode just happened. Like my fake
Grief
little
is a
brother
mother.
is
Grief is a mother.
Yeah, that's how I took that.
Grief is a motherfucker.
I'm just like, that just seems so scary to me. I'm just like,
she ain't even scared.
She not. She a
chasing. She a ghostbuster. She chasing the shit out of these ghosts.
Hello,
Yeah,
she got like, look, I got my gun or something.
She ain't got nothing. She just running into it with a hand.
Yeah, she ain't got shit.
Mama!
And it was, like I don't. There has to be her mama, right? Like, I mean, again, unless they taking pieces because they put her in the same situation like her dad was in. She goes to the room. The room's locked. She's beating on the door, can't get into it until she gets into it. She's like, man, I'm tripping. And that was like, that would have been one sign of like, maybe it's you. You the issue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I think it's like what you said. Oh, go ahead, Jazz.
No, I was just gonna say, like, I'm not gonna be honest. I'm gonna be real. Like, if it was really her mom, why are you playing games with me?
Yeah.
Why are you going down dark hallways in a hospital, taking me away from the light? Like, why you put me in creepy situations? I would immediately think that was a demon, but that's just me. Like, so what was you gonna say, Chris?
No, I was gonna say like she's not thinking clearly, but it's like what Jason said. Like grief just make you do some stupid shit. So she's not thinking clearly, and that's not because she deserves a lot of accountability for about the 7 bullet point. I think we had 7 now, but her chasing the ghost, I can understand that, and she really thinks it's her mom. You know, because at this point she's so desperate, she just wants some sort of closure, you know? And I feel like deep down, I think she knows that her mom committed suicide. Maybe I feel like that's maybe what's like she's trying to figure out. That's like her worst fear. And I think she's trying to get some confirmation that it wasn't it. And I think she's just desperate to know that her mom didn't choose to leave her. So I think that grief, you know, that's what I'm thinking. Because she's not thinking clearly at all. She's doing a lot of dumb shit.
And that's the other thing. I feel like was it her mom or was it her creating that situation? Because
I think it was a little bit of both.
Because I mean, because the dad tells her the story. Do we think that was the dad actually reading her a suicide note?
I think so. I think that was him.
I don't know what's real.
I saw it. It's hard because at that point they leave a lot up for interpretation. Yeah. But at the same exact time, you have the story that's being told, and the mom was like, "Nah, that's not true." And it's like, damn, is that you putting your mama right there? Now, at this point, is it you that's projecting your mom? Like, no, my mom would never do that. Like, it's the denial part of that. And it may be just the 5 stages of grief. Like, it's the denial in her. Like, it couldn't be true. My mom wouldn't do me like that.
So are you saying that her feelings about that is projecting into the ghost that has possessed her?
That's
and the figure is her mom delivering that message to her?
Yeah,
if that's the case, that whole thing, that's kind of fucked up if that's the case. Because I'm just
to a certain extent, because I'm saying, like, when you go into it, like I said, like when she said, because it was super convenient, but it made a lot of sense. Like when it was her dad at one point, then it wasn't her dad at another point, And then she was like, "That's not him." And then he walked into the room. We, as the viewer, are the dad at that point, so we see it's nothing on top of her at that time. So it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to decipher when the dad was there and when the dad wasn't. So then when it was, but at any time it wasn't. Anytime it was a demon, they always. I think they tried to make a point of it that they looked demented, like they looked crazy anytime you seen them. So then when she, he go into the room, you know how this ain't play out. We'll get into it, but it gets kind of complicated toward the end of this. Like that, the last 5 minutes of this movie, or the last some of the most complicated shit I've ever seen.
Yeah,
ever.
I ain't know what's going on at first either. I think like after the end, I thought about it. I think I have it figured out. But I think it's what Jazz is saying. I think the demon is real. I think that this is an evil version of her mom, but I think they're taking their feelings and her fears, and it's a manifestation of that. So I think that's why the mom is manipulating her, and the reason why I think that it can't be like her actual mom, and I think the mom is lying, is because the mom has done nothing good for her. So it has to be some sort of evil version, because it got her killed. It got Riley in this situation. It manipulated her into stabbing her dad. So it's like, why would her mother do this? So it has to be an evil version, and I think it's playing on all of those fears, and it's manifesting itself as not physical, but it's manifest as an entity to do harm, just to do evil. So I don't think that So I think that the dad reading the suicide note, I think that was real. I think so. Because it contradicts the him trying to bang the door down, and it contradicts, like, if it wasn't real, then why wouldn't the mom just tell her what really happened?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Why not just be honest about it?
Yeah.
And then it definitely has Mia doubting her dad. Mm-hmm. And so it definitely playing on the emotions. I mean, I wouldn't mind a sequel if it's written well.
Yeah.
I would say that.
Well.
And you gotta give us bigger breadcrumbs, because leaving out of this, I definitely had a lot of questions.
Yeah.
But obviously this conversation that we've been having, a few of those have been answered. So you know what? Thanks to you gentlemen for that.
You got me thinking about this movie now. Now you're asking some great questions, and I'm thinking about it, because, like, even afterwards, I thought I had things figured out, but y'all bringing up some points. I'm like, oh, I didn't really think about that. Because now I'm realizing this movie could have a lot of interpretations, and depending on how you look at it, like if you're looking at it as not her mom, you could have like a totally different like just view on the movie. If you think that it is her mom and she's telling the truth, it can be totally different. So like I honestly went in there thinking that it's not, and it's just like a demon that just knows just enough about her to tell her what she needs. Because if you notice, the demon doesn't really give any answers. It plays on her depression, her grief, but it doesn't actually answer anything. Because if it was her mom, it'd be like, hey, this is what happened, or your dad did this, or your dad didn't do this. But it just says that, no, that's not what happened. It's very passive. And I feel like it knows like enough truth, but not the full story. That's why I feel like it's either an evil version of her mom, or just like someone else who just is trying to just fuck with her.
Yeah. What you got, Jason?
I said I don't know.
And I'm trying to just
As y'all was talking, I'm trying to figure it out myself.
Yeah, but so we see she trying to go into the stall, thinking her mom is there. It's nobody in there. It's just a clean stall. So she's upset, and then she sees Daniel down the hallway. She runs down the stairwell crying, and Daniel's like, "Let me go make sure she's good. Let me leave my." His girlfriend in the room with her brother that's half dead, and go make sure Mia's okay. And so they're talking, and they somehow end up in Daniel's car, and he's taking her home and he's staying with her.
Mm-hmm.
Because Daniel's just like, I don't think I need to stay with you tonight. And she's like, we're just friends. What's so wrong about it? And I'm like, you little heifer.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't like that.
Sleeping together. Like, so they're talking, and then they're like reminiscing, because they see like a sign, I guess, or something that she has in her room that's like Daniel and Mia. Why is that still up?
She clingy.
If your best friend is dating him.
It was carved in there, right?
She should have fixed that shit and just scribbled it out for the next guy.
Everybody ain't, everybody don't go through those different things,
Jason. He is dating your best friend.
Man.
You just gotta hang something up over it. You gotta do something. Yeah, like
put some damn stickers up there or something.
Yeah, that's crazy. And like it's been what, 3 years?
Yeah, but
like 3 years is a long time for teenagers.
But Haley told y'all, she's still into that thing.
Which is kind of crazy, because like again, 3 years is long to be in love with someone as a teenager, because like that teenage love is fickle. Like you can meet someone like next week and that could be your new crush. So to still be crushing on this dude 3 years later from like 14 to 17, that's kind of wild.
I mean, I guess it depends on who it is. That teenage love, I mean, I don't know, but I thought this scene was funny because you see Daniel and Mia in the bed together, even though they're on opposite sides.
Mm-hmm.
But in the earlier scene, when Mia was at Jade's house, Mia was sleeping on the couch and Jade was in her bed with the dog. Now, normally, like, young girls, like, if your friend come over, y'all can share the bed or whatever, especially if it's a good size.
Mm-hmm.
But her sleeping on the couch, I was just like, why wasn't Daniel out on the couch?
I thought that too. I peeped that too.
Why are y'all in the bed together?
I think he's trying to hide them from the daddy.
Oh, is that what it was?
That makes sense.
I feel like he's hiding from the daddy.
But why is he not on the floor? Because if your father walks in,
I agree with. I 100% agree with.
If he walk in and he just like, what the hell is this? It's gonna be some problems. I'm just like, you could have gave him a blanket and a pillow, sis, and he could have been on the floor.
That's fair.
So, and I thought the scene was weird because, first off, she's looking at videos on her phone. Her audio is on, and he's asleep. Sis, you might wake him up. You so rude. Where your headphones at? Where you're like, come on now. But then the fact that like when she was watching the videos and then she laid down, did she seem to get closer to his legs?
Yeah, like that too.
Yep, she did. Yep, she was getting closer. Like while he was sleeping, she was. They started off like a pretty decent space apart, and then once he was asleep, like she got closer and closer. Well, she was very manipulative in this movie because even how she got him into staying with her. And like they was all very manipulative, and then I don't know if they went into it, but like, well, they didn't. But even with them staying in the bed together, like, yeah, you were saying he could have just slept on the floor. Like, this is your best friend's boyfriend. Like, he don't gotta be in there. But I also feel like Daniel was probably an easy person to like talk into things. Like I kind of got that energy with him. But yeah, she was definitely like got him in the bed, and then like once he was asleep, she tried to get like real close.
Yeah, was Daniel a Bible thumper?
He was religious. He acted like he was.
Mm-hmm.
Acting. Because he was lying to his parents.
But them church kids sometimes be the wildest.
Yeah.
Like, especially like the pastor's kids, they be the wildest, which I don't know if he was, but they be, I knew a couple whose names I ain't gonna say, but they was wild.
Yeah, please don't put their name out here.
Oh, no, I ain't gonna put their names out there. Nah, we ain't doing that.
I know a couple myself. Yeah.
But yeah, y'all know,
that's
they be,
facts.
So he was definitely, but even with that, I ain't gonna I think that was more so just like teenager trying to fit in and also like peer pressure, just getting talked into things. Cause I feel like if it was up to him, he wouldn't have done any of that.
True. I mean, he had a good time. So I guess he had space for that demon in his spirit. And he could just go to church on Sunday and
space for the demon. I see what you're saying.
But nah, and then we see Mia's dreaming, and like a scene that we mentioned earlier when she's making out with Daniel, which Jason, you said this could possibly be a memory and not a dream, which would be wild. And so we see her father trying to get the mother out of the room. She gone, and the way he her body is just sitting beside him, and he's just sitting up was like, oh, I give up. Like, can you call the ambulance right now? Because your wife is like laying here. But and then we see, I guess this is the spirit that's possessed Mia. Because I'm not gonna lie. So that's the one she saw earlier, right?
Yeah, when she was in the room. The second.
Completely forgot. I'm just like, who this old ass nasty looking chick? Like, what? And sis just went in, as y'all mentioned earlier, mouth full of feet. I was looking at this scene. I was just like, so sis, did you have to really put his foot in your mouth?
I think so.
Maybe it may have been a fake foot though. I don't know.
It
She
could
was
have been like
going in.
prosthetic. I'm just
Yeah, like a
thinking
prosthetic.
why the like I mean I like the shock value of it, but like why? What was the significance of like was it just like do some weird shit? But why sucking this nigga feet?
It may have been her desires.
And plus, for some people, sucking feet is not weird. So
Yeah, for women to men though,
I can't speak on that.
that's kind of wild.
Not that wild.
You say it's not that wild? Wait, is that what you said?
It's
That's
not that
what he
wild. I
said.
said it's not that wild. That's all I said.
So you wish
I just
that was
all I say, Chris, is it's not that wild. That's
so you
all I
wish that
said.
you wish that was you?
Said what? Excuse
You
me?
wish that you wish that was you? You were watching Daniel?
I'm not really into foot play that way.
Okay. I thought that you were speaking for yourself.
It's a little ticklish now.
Okay. Not for I mean it's not I guess wild for like I wasn't expecting that in the movie. I thought that she was maybe gonna like touch him or something. Like I was just not expecting that. It caught me off guard, but in a good way.
Yeah, she touched in a good way. Okay, she touched the kid face, but she sucked this man's feet. So she was looking for somebody she can get touched on.
This is true. And I'm proud of her selection. Because that would have been wild for Riley. Like, for real. He need that.
He would have been a brand new man.
Whew. Yeah, but obviously Daniel was not feeling this. His feet getting sucked at all. Because he got out of there so fast. And the fact that Mia was like, she's sucking your feet. And he's like, no, bitch, you sucking my feet. Like, I gotta go. And she just spazzes out. I didn't understand this scene. I didn't understand her hitting herself and going through this entire tantrum. Could y'all please enlighten me? Like, was the ghost over here like, damn, I wanted to suck the other foot, or I wanted something else? Like, what was happening?
You never did something you're like, damn, I fucked up. Like,
yeah.
I feel like that. I feel like that's just what that was. Like, she was like, dang, I'm tripping. Like, why am I doing this? Let me talk to my mama again. Like, why am I putting this man foot in my mouth? And she kept on talking about Ryan never addressed the one that was in her.
You said what?
They kept addressing the demon that was in Riley. They never addressed the one that was in her.
Well, I don't think that you talking about her friends didn't address it or the movie?
Her mama.
What you mean her mama didn't address it?
Like we knew the demon was inside her in Mia from the beginning. Her mom kept talking about just kill the boy. Like go get the boy. Like she never said nothing about you got one. I think
the mama was the demon.
Yeah.
And the easiest way to control her was to reflect her mom. Because even when Daniel and Mia were talking, because Mia told Daniel, was like, I'm seeing my mom. And he was like, well, when they're in us, they see things and they get to know us.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably how she figured like the easiest way to be able to control her is to reflect myself as her mom.
Yeah.
So I didn't think about that prior until we actually started like talking about it in this scene, but that would be crazy. Because I was curious. I'm like,
yeah, that's my interpretation too, Jazz.
Yeah. So we come to find out Daniel don't like his feet sucked. And then what was you about to say, Jason?
Nothing.
But and so like Mia's going under solo. She said, look, I put the needle in my arm by myself. I don't need y'all at all. Which I'm like, I was actually shocked she even still had the hand. Because I was like, how did you end up with it? Because that belongs to Josh and Haley. And I'm like, are they looking for their hand?
Bruh, she just ran off with the hand.
But
would you play with the hand again after that boy done killed himself in the house?
That's crazy.
Oh, I never know where the hand was at.
That's crazy. Yeah, that's something I would have got rid of that.
And that's just how this shit happened. Like they let it go. Crazy situation. She got it. Crazy her situation. Had a hand in the world in the wind, right?
That's true. And then like while she was talking to her mom is like, Riley needs help. Which was saying stuff like, well, no, I guess they could play on that. It's just like, Riley needs help. You need to kill him to let him be free. So the ghost was like manipulating her, things that she's been doing to her friends through this entire movie. Projection. Damn. Imagine a ghost possessing you and using all of the evil tools you use on other people on you.
That's poetic justice. Just coming around.
Ooh, that's deep. Okay. I like it. But then we see Riley getting bathed because he obviously can't, he's all the way fucked up. So his mom and sister are bathing him. This scene was hard to watch again as well, because Riley was like, I'm about to bite her hand. That's all fucked up. And with him falling on the floor, like, this how this movie was. It was because you had scenes that were like low level, not too crazy, but informative, and then you had Riley fucking himself up and punching his head against the wall. Like,
yeah, these were the hardest scenes in the movie with Riley. This is when, like you said before, it made you cringe. Like this one made me cringe too. I'm like, not again. And it was just so gruesome and nasty. I'm like,
Yeah, him busting his head up against that wall and just going there, licking the blood up. I was like,
yeah.
Yeah, he wild.
Yeah,
wild.
it was. I'm not gonna lie. I'm sitting here like, how are you still alive?
Yeah,
because he was fucked up, but like he's hit his head on so many different occasions. Like even if he were to no longer be possessed tomorrow,
yeah,
he got brain damage.
Yeah. Let me ask about that. Let me ask y'all this, because he was mute at this point. Do you think that he was comatose from the brain damage or the possession? Because I wasn't sure. You think it was both? Okay.
I'm thinking more of the comatose.
Okay, because he fucked his head up,
and he had a really ugly demon in him.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just a lot. I felt so bad for Jade because she's sitting here like as he's licking his blood, calling her mom. But it's just like she can't do much because her hand is fucked up as well, and he just bit into that. But the gang gets back together and they're trying to figure out like, okay, what can we do to help Riley? And I thought it was funny because this is when Josh was talking to them about like where he got the hand from, and then he was just like, he got it from Docket, or what is his name, Jason? Duckett.
Yeah, Duckett.
All right, Big D. He got it from Big D. No, that's all.
We got it.
He got it from Duckett. And so was this? I'm trying to. No, this wasn't the scene yet where Mia was like suggesting, let's go ahead and get the hand and bring it back to Riley, which that's later down the line.
This is I think that's the scene afterwards. I think
right.
If that might be the scene immediately after. I think.
Yeah, because I think
right after.
Yeah.
Because they had to go talk to Duckett's brother on the bus. I feel like he probably had a bus ticket, but I don't think everybody else had a bus ticket. So how was everybody else able to get on the bus?
I thought that too.
Maybe they got free bus ride in Australia, not like in other countries. Maybe it's just us doing it backwards.
Okay, all right. You know what? I'll take that.
It could come out their taxes. Yeah, maybe it comes out their taxes, and maybe you can ride it. But I thought that too. I'm like, yo, how did they just slide on in? But I'm like, we'll just go with it.
Okay, I'll take that. And so that was when he was pretty much asking them, like, I think one of y'all mentioned earlier, if it's the longer it's in you, the weaker it gets. And then Jade is like, yeah, no, it's getting stronger, and he keeps trying to kill my brother. So I need something that's going to be instant solution. He's like, y'all did it to a kid? Like, which also makes you think that might be another reason why it's able to still latch onto him and just be so aggressive, because he's not as strong, even though he's like 1 or 2 years younger than everybody else, but he's just not as strong.
They made him seem like he was so much younger. Like, I know he don't look it, but they was treating him like he was 12.
He was probably 12 and they were like 15.
I think
So
it was
yes.
Jason. You said he was 15 and they were 17, right?
Yeah, but they
But
weren't 18.
yeah, but they made him. They were treating him like he was just such a little kid.
I mean, it's when it's your younger sibling, you don't want them to go through, those different things because you didn't even, but she didn't even do it. So if I didn't do it, why do I
Yeah,
want you to do it?
true, true. But didn't one of the characters say at one point they were babysitting when he pulled up?
That's what the
Yeah,
Haley
Haley.
said.
Yeah, so they were treating him like, I mean, seven. I mean, I've had friends that were 2 years younger than me, and it didn't feel like that. But like 17 to 12 is kind of a difference, or even 17 and 13.
Uh, so if you went to a party
Yeah,
and you had to bring your sibling with you, you probably it'll feel like babysitting because you have to watch. Because if you just at the party with your friends, like to a certain extent, yeah, you watching what they're doing to make sure
yeah,
they're
yeah.
safe. But if you're there with your sibling, it's a
Mm.
completely different realm of watching what a person is doing.
I feel that. I guess it's different because I was the youngest, so I
Oh, see, I'm
was.
the oldest.
Yeah.
I'm the
Okay.
oldest. I'm the
Okay.
oldest, so oftentimes my stuff just I had to stop, or it was a little different because I had my little brother with me. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like certain things you just couldn't do, or you wasn't going to do because you didn't want to
Mm.
expose them. I wasn't the big brother that was kicking it with kicking it like
Mm.
giving my brother, giving them drugs, giving them
Yeah.
liquor
Yeah.
on the cool because I'm the big brother. I
Yeah.
wasn't that person. I was showing him somewhat proper the way you do things.
I feel that. Then I can see how like they maybe she wasn't talking about for herself. Maybe she was talking about like you're literally babysitting right now. So that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah. So Doc's brother was able to give them as much information as they could, and they just got off the bus. And it's funny because Jade was just like telling Mia, this is your fault. And Mia's like, nah, we all said it was cool. And then Haley and Josh said, no, 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 sis. That was you. You the one that said it was cool for him to do 50 seconds. This is all on you. Don't throw our names in there.
And then you went 2 minutes.
And you only supposed to do 90 seconds.
I don't think they blew the candle out either.
No, they didn't. They didn't because that was the thing of why she wanted to go back. That was the motivation why she wanted to go back because she thought that because they didn't blow the candle out, that they would do it again and say goodbye. Because like in movies with Ouija boards, you're supposed to say goodbye, and if you don't, that's when the spirit sticks around. Now I don't know if that's real life, but in every movie I watched, you were supposed to say goodbye. So
Jason,
take that with a grain of salt. But
let's
that's
stage this episode.
We
Just
got
in
it.
case.
We're gonna
All
put
right.
it, but also like I wonder if because she did go and blow the candle out. They went back to the room. They did the hand. She blew the candle out, and when she spoke to her friend the next day, she said he's doing a lot better now. But Mia was still seeing shit. But again, I don't think Mia's situation had anything to do with him.
It didn't.
I feel like her shit was just all hers.
But Mia, but then she went, but they did it again in the hospital. I thought they did it again in the hospital to blow the candle out.
That's what I mean. That's
Yeah,
what I'm saying.
okay.
She went,
Okay,
after she went to the hospital, had to do the thing. She blew the candle out and just closed it. And then like she went to the room, like she let me in. She went back through the whole spiel again, saw the little girl and
Yeah.
whatnot. And I feel like that was them messing with her, like not really dealing with him. So like the next day, it was like she was like, "Nah, he good." She was like, "Nah, it's a possession. Don't worry about that. I figured out what to do. I know how to do it now."
And I think even with that, the demons were because in the end, I know I'm jumping ahead, but in the end they showed that he did get better. And it was I think the demons who convinced her that like either she needed to kill him or that he was getting tortured or something, and that that she needed to fix it. But if she just left it alone, and this is another, another mark would be fucked up that if she just left it alone, left everything alone, everything would have been okay. It seems like.
She wouldn't have though. She would have. She had to go.
But I'm assuming though, because Duckett's brother has said that like if you just let it be, then it'll go away. So I'm assuming that could have applied for herself too.
It could because she kept going in the door. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. She kept going in the door. She was in that bitch like it was a revolving
She kept
door.
doing that shit. So if she just
doing it.
All she had to do was not do anything, and then Riley would have been okay, and she would have been okay. She could have just stopped and just lived, and shit would have been all right. It seems like. But she had to, with that, I think she may have felt, well, one, she was being manipulated, but I think she also did feel regret that it was her fault. And she felt like it's one of those things where she was overcorrecting. Instead of just trusting Duckett's brother, excuse me, she was trying to like, okay, let me be the hero. Let me try to fix this mess that I created instead of just listening to him.
I'm not gonna lie. I got a confession at the end of this,
What's
but
up? Oh, okay, at the end?
yeah, yeah. But
Okay, okay.
that was a really good analysis that y'all just had. I will say that was dope.
This movie gave a lot to think about. Like even
Right.
while and like more so at the end, because when I'm watching the movie at first, that's why sometimes I like to watch them twice. Because the first time is just for entertainment. Let me just see if I like this. And then the second time is like, okay, let me analyze this and like seeing themes, seeing like, okay, like the foreshadowing. I can really like actually watch the movie because I already know, already like it, love it, don't like it, what have you. Now let me check for some other things. But this movie did a really good job of like there was some things that it wasn't like just a straightforward like slasher, like a typical slasher where it's just like a dude that's like killing people. Like this movie, it was cool, you know. Maybe not. I'm not saying it's like Inception or something like that, where like it's
Yeah.
complicated like that, but it is, I would say, like more thoughtful than the average movie that I watch, at least.
No, I definitely agree. It gives you a lot of things to think about, and it has a lot of symbolism.
See the symbolism.
So,
I feel like I've missed a lot of the symbolisms. So y'all, you can probably enlighten me on those.
the kangaroo for sure. I definitely
So,
think the kangaroo was, and then when she spoke on her dream at the beginning of the movie, she was foreshadowing what ended up happening to her, which is
mm,
wild. So, those are the two things that I pointed that I was able to identify. I'm not sure if Jason had any different ones. Um, okay,
Because I went through, I was going as I was going through, I was mentioning anything that was like foreshadowing or that
mhm.
right,
through the end, but like more so, I mean, the most obvious one, like you said, the kangaroo. She looked just like the kangaroo at the end, but that's, I mean, you know, that was the same way that it looked when it was in the ground on the street. That's how
Yeah.
she looked. That's how I ended.
I'm
You
not
know,
gonna lie. When I saw that scene, it immediately reminded me of Eleven's father from Stranger Things when he got shot. And I was like, "Oh, your body like looking like dude from Stranger Things right now." But nah. And so they were just like, let's just do it one more time with Riley. Would y'all have agreed to do this if it was your sibling and your best friend was just like, let's have them go under one more time with the
No,
hand?
I would have said no because after what Duckett said, if Duckett had never, I never had that conversation with Duckett's brother, then what Mia would have said would have made sense. But after Duckett saying just leave well enough alone, leave it alone, like it made no sense for them to go back in. And the fact that Mia was able to convince them, I'm like, yo, y'all just went to talk to Duckett to get advice from him, kind of harass that man for advice, and now you're not going to use what he told you. And especially he gave you some simple advice. And a lot of times in other movies like this, it's either you can't do anything, you fucked, or it's some complicated shit. He just said just leave it alone, just stop, and then it's going to get better. And so for them to say that like maybe they felt like they had to do something, but to answer your question, I'm like, nah, let's take Duckett's advice. And especially since he had a brother who killed himself, so he's seen what happens when someone keeps playing with it, then let's just do the opposite of what Duckett did. So yeah, it was kind of crazy that they did that again.
Right. What do you think, Jason?
um, yeah, nah, I'm with Chris, 100% with Chris. Like I said, when it comes to that situation, because it was, I don't know. Like I said, we're going talking through it with Chris. I agree as far as just like if, like I said, just leaving it alone. That would have been, I mean, that probably would have, leaving well enough alone, that probably would have been the thing that protected her. Like I said, because there was never a thing or a rule that said if Jazz, if I'm passed out, Jazz takes my hand and puts on, you can talk for me in there, talk to him. Like there was never a rule that said
Mm-hmm.
that's how that does anything in that situation. So it could be assumed that worked, but I feel like that would never happen. You're the one
Mm-hmm.
that did and the ghost let you in to them type situation.
Right. It's like she was just trying to clean up a mess, but she kept making the mess worse in a way.
And that was a big assumption to make that someone could talk for them. Like Jason said, like that was never said. I mean, maybe it could, but like that just like there was no rule that said that, so I'm not even sure of like why she would think that. But again, Jazz, like you said, like she was trying to clean up her mess, and I'm sure she felt bad for getting him in that situation and felt like she needed to be the one to get them out, get him out.
Right. Because then didn't she think that she was kind of the blame for her mother's suicide? Because I feel like when her father was talking to her, and we actually get into this scene where um after Mia sees those ghosts when she's trying to go speak to Riley, she sees some fucked up shit. They having an orgy with him, and he's like, "Nah, I'm not with this shit." And so she's just like, "They're gonna keep hurting him." And then she pretty much goes home, and her father's like, "I want to speak to you." And so that's when her father reads her that letter from her mom. And so, because it's just like her father told her, he was just like, I don't want you to blame yourself. So maybe the same kind of trauma that she might feel of her mother committing suicide is her fault. She might think Riley is in this situation because it's my fault. So I have to clean up my mess. I have to try to save him. And so she's actually digging herself in a bigger hole when, like you said, she could have just taken Doc's brother's advice. And so, which her trying to come to her own solution is making it worse to where the ghosts are coming at her. Fake mom is showing her scary ass images like, yeah, nah, I didn't write that. That ain't me. And so she's in her room and she's just telling her dad, like, I'll be right back. And then the ghost is now banging at her door. And her dad over here going through a bag. So the way that this scene unfolded when like the ghost dad came and attacked her, I was just like, she gonna end up accidentally killing her father the same way, or stabbing her father the same way Dockett's brother did him, or Dockett did his brother. So I was like, it's basically playing out the same way. But I don't know, like, did you get that from this scene?
About the connection between this scene and Duckett and his brother?
Right. And then just like unfolding of the father being in a room minding his business, but then she's thinking, like, she's seeing this image of what she thinks her father's banging on her door. Her mom is like, you need to go save Riley. That ain't your daddy, and all this other stuff.
And this is why, like, more proof, at least in my opinion, on why this is not her mother, and this is a demon probably impersonating her mom, because we don't know like what kind of dad her dad is. He just seems, all we know about him is that his wife committed suicide for reasons that were unrelated, that it seemed like her mom just was really depressed, but the dad does not seem like a bad guy. So why would the mom lie on the dad and manipulate her into stabbing him if he's not a bad guy? Because all we've seen is that he's just a guy that's grieving, that's trying to connect with his last remaining, his daughter that's left. He's not a bad dude. So I feel like this is obviously an evil entity that is manipulating Riley, Mia, excuse me, in this situation into just doing harm. So I'm just not sure on if this is a demon impersonating the mom or it's just an evil version of the mom. But I think it's just a demon who is just impersonating the mother. I think because there was just no other logical reason to say that the dad lied about this suicide, like concocted this whole suicide note just to fuck with Mia, and then like to manipulate her into stabbing him if he's a decent dude from what we've seen, because there's nothing else that's been confirmed to say that like he deserved that. So I think that this is just a demon. Say all that to say.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's complicated. I don't know. I think Jazz said, she never meant her daughter any good anyway. So I mean, it just may have been who she was anyway. Like that's just more of who she is. Just I won't, bring her daughter to where she is. Like come, But even then, even in that situation, like shit, her mom when they got to the end, she still went with her mom. So that's I don't know fucking, because at least in some of the movies they. Like what's it? Was it Gladiator? He died and he goes with his family at the end.
Yeah.
Like at least they see them hugging or something.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They make it to where they yet, but like they ain't give us nothing. It's just but then it could have just been the entire time, like you said, just her. That could have just been her, what she seen, what she felt, what she thought, what was happening outside of the demon that was dealing with the brother until they blew the candle out.
And also another question to ask: why would the mom even be there here in the first place? Because we can assume this isn't heaven. And maybe I feel like that's safe to say that this is not heaven, and it's they someplace where spirit they someplace like hell, purgatory, like
Purgatory.
is
Yeah,
this where
purgatory.
suicide, like people who committed suicide go? You know what I'm saying? Like why would the mom be here in the first place? Because if she just killed herself and this is where like victims of suicide go, then maybe all the people that we're seeing are people who committed suicide. But I guess what I'm asking is what determines like the
Who stays
spirits
and
that
who
are here?
goes?
Yeah, like who are here?
Maybe it was people with unresolved things, possibly.
It could be, yeah, it could be. It could be. But one question that I did want that you asked that I wanted to answer, Jazz, is that you asked if like if Mia was to blame or she feels like she's to blame for her mom's death. And she's not to blame. I think the dad was protecting her because like I feel like I did have a cousin who committed suicide, but we weren't super close. But I haven't had someone close to me commit suicide. But I could imagine that if there was a loved one who did take their own life, I could imagine that you would blame yourself. I would imagine that you would feel that, okay, what did I do that would make them do this? And especially if it's a child with their parent, what was I doing so wrong that made them not want to ever see me and my
Mm-mm.
dad again? So I could see why she may blame herself, but I don't get the sense that she actually did anything that caused her mother to do this. But what you asked before, she is to blame for Riley, but I don't think she's to blame for her mom. I think her mom was just an unhappy woman who just couldn't handle things anymore. But I don't think she's to blame.
Yeah, I don't think like she did anything,
Mm-hmm.
but maybe she might think to herself like, did she not love me enough to stay? To
Yeah.
where those kind of questions
Mm-hmm.
could probably pop into her
Mm-hmm.
head, and maybe her father wasn't sure how to handle that with her, which is why they weren't close, which is why we didn't really see his face until the end of the movie,
Mm-hmm.
until damn near he got stabbed in the neck.
Yeah.
So and the fact that if he was there as supportive, she wouldn't have clinged so close to Jade's family.
But did she let
So
him though? But I mean, it seemed like he was trying to connect with her.
I mean,
And
he seemed kind of short with it, and like he seemed like he gave her space,
mhm,
but didn't really, yo, Mia, we going out, we talking, to kind
yeah.
of put that tough love.
It's hard. It's hard. That's hard to say when I'm grieving too. Like I
Mhm,
lost my,
That's another thing,
I
right?
lost my wife. Like that
yeah.
was somebody. That was the person I chose to be with for the rest of my life. Like I lost her too.
Mhm,
So then you have to be strong enough for yourself. You have to be strong enough for your child.
mhm,
That's a tough.
And
Um,
then, sorry to cut you off, Jason, but then Mia even told Jade's mom, was like, I don't even want to be at home with him because it's so depressing.
mm.
So even though it might be like, well, did he open up himself for her? But did she do the same for him?
But that's fucked up. That's kind of a fucked
So
up thing that just because like we were all close to the same woman who took their life, you don't want to be around me because I'm a reminder. Like, I don't know. That's a tough situation for the dad. And that's why it makes me feel like the dad may have been trying to connect with her, but she pushed away. Because how are you mad at me for being a reminder that like my wife committed suicide, your mother? Like, I don't know. I just feel like I get that
it
grief.
could
Uh-huh.
it in not because it could have been. I mean, it
You're
could have just
fine.
been more. It could have been more of the because she said, "What are you not telling me? There's something that you're keeping from me," and
Mhm.
that's another thing that I felt like. When y'all
Mm,
keep saying
mm,
like the fears and stuff projecting, like she was like, "What are you keeping from me? Like,
yeah.
what are you hiding?" And then he gave what he was hiding, and she still was like, "Nah, it would that never would." My mom would like. We never know. We never know the reason. Unfortunately,
Yeah,
we'll never know the reason. But she left a note, and she didn't accept the note.
Jason, do you think the note was real?
I don't know, bro. I'm
You
gonna
don't
be
know?
honest with you. I don't know. It's that last little piece was it's so hard to try to keep up with, like, because
Hmm.
him reading the note, then him. I mean, I can see him reading the note, putting it down, then picking up her bag as she left and going through it, like just seeing. Because at that point, he don't know his daughter no more. Like, what's going on? Like,
Yeah.
what are
Hmm.
you into? Then him seeing that, like, I don't. I would like to assume it was though. Like, I feel like it makes more sense for it to be than it not to be. Just as the way this story was going.
Jazz, what about you? Do you think it was real?
I think it was, but I also think the way that they did it, they want us to ask this question,
Oh, for sure.
I
For
agree.
sure.
which if we're sitting up here like, damn, it could be either way, then I think whatever they were trying to accomplish, they succeeded. But I think it was real.
Mm-hmm.
But he busts in the room. He get a knife to the neck. Damn. At this point, I was like, all right, so Mia is not surviving this movie. Like, at all. But then I was just trying to figure out, is she going to try to go kill Riley? Because you done put a knife in your father's neck. Mm-hmm. You can't blame that on Ghost. So then that's when I was just like, okay, she's definitely pulling a Duckett because Duckett stabbed a family member.
Mm-hmm.
And that was when he took his life. But then I was just like, okay, obviously her focus is Riley. And so she called Jade, and Jade came like the good friend that Jade is. No, sis, you figured whatever, you got out. Like, my brother's in the hospital, I'm making sure he good because he keep trying to kill himself.
Mm-hmm.
Jade was like, no, she still goes to Mia's house. And Mia over there in the parking lot. Like, all right, so let me go ahead and roll up in his hotel room. How did y'all think where this scene was going to end up? Or did you have any kind of like make any kind of guesses and then it panned out, or were you just completely off?
I mean, I first thought she was at home when she made that phone call.
Mm-hmm.
But then when it was like, whoa, she trying to misdirect her. Like, I'm like, oh man, she in this hospital. I thought, like, to a certain extent, I thought she was gonna get away, like, get to do what she wanted to. I mean, I feel like either way was a messed up ending. I feel like either way, if she would have got away, if she would have killed Riley, it would have been messed up. If she didn't kill Riley, I feel like it would have been messed up. I mean, she didn't, and it still was messed up. Like, my only question now is, did she do it to herself? That's y'all assuming?
I don't know.
Because
I don't know.
It felt like because she let the seat go.
Yeah.
And, but I feel like it would have been a little bit different if Shorty would have pushed her. If Jay would have pushed her, I feel like she would have felt a little bit different.
Yeah.
But her jumping makes sense. So it's, you got did she jump or did she get pushed? And if she jumped, I feel like, she kind of following, that's a tough thing, but like, following her mother's footsteps. And that's, I look at, I don't know if y'all ever seen A Million Little Things. Is A Million Little Things? It may be that, but the premise of it is it comes on the husband, he takes his life. And then you just see how that affects the friend group. And then, within that, but then, eventually comes out his wife was cheating with the best friend in the friend group. His best friend was also about to take his own life. And the only reason he didn't is because he heard about him taking his, and that's what stopped him from doing it. And then later down in the seasons, his daughter eventually she begins to want to take hers, like just based on some stuff that she's going through. So it's just, they say like, can it be passed down in certain things? Like, they say for us, like traumatic experiences over and our ancestors can be passed to us. And like sometimes that's just we don't know that those triggers are triggering us, but I don't know. I mean, I can see it being that way for her.
With this scene, I was watching this and I'm not sure, and I think it's intentionally ambiguous. And I guess from like just based on what Riley did and with Duckett, I guess that she maybe jumped in front of it because both with them they were trying to harm themselves. So at least we didn't see anyone. So maybe that's also because we were looking at it as the viewer and we don't see the demons that the person that is possessed that see. So maybe from Duckett or from Riley's perspective, maybe it's the demon that is doing it to them, that's causing them to harm them. But from our perspective, it looked like they're hurting themselves. So obviously they're possessed, but I just don't know if they're just being manipulated in it or if they're being like taken control of. But I guess just based off of that, I would have to guess that she just jumped. She was possessed and just jumped and that she wasn't pushed. But I think the movie did a great job actually of not saying like one way or the other. And like you bring up a great point in that like either way, I feel like most movies, like a lot of American movies, like at the very end, she would have been about to kill Riley and then Jade would have came in and like saved the day right at the nick of time. And then she would have gotten like unpossessed. But I feel like in this movie, I feel like both choices were fucked up. Either if she killed Riley, that's fucked up. Now she going to prison. Like she's like destroyed a family, like just everything's fucked up, or she kills herself and like that's fucked up. So like I think that this movie did a really good job of like really having kind of a bleak ending because now the dad got to deal with 2 suicides and like he's probably destroyed. Like Jade, I mean, lost her best friend. Her brother may have permanent brain damage. You know what I'm saying? So everything is just kind of messed up. So I feel like it was actually a pretty dark and unhappy ending. But I feel like for like the movie and the story, I think it's a strong ending.
Yeah, I didn't think that Jade pushed her. I definitely thought that Mia jumped in the road.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just like, sis, I would have been so pissed if she jumped in front of my car. I'd have been like, wait, could you not do this at a
Yo, Jazz, yo, you are selfish. Yo, you selfish.
Y'all know, y'all probably wouldn't have wanted her to jump in front of your car either.
That's what we got insurance for.
That's what.
Wait a minute. So you would have been like,
hey, but I'm gonna be real though. Like just put it out there. Oftentimes I be driving, I'm like, please don't jump. Like you ever seen people on the side of the road, like, please don't jump.
If it's another lane, I'm getting over. Like, I don't know what you got going on today. So you're gonna try to get in the lane closest to the sidewalk. I'm getting over on the other side. But like when we see it cuts from her, look like she's about to push the wheelchair in the street. Mm-hmm. First time watching, I thought she did push him in the street.
I thought so too.
Because I was thinking, I didn't think she would go to prison. I would think either she's going to kill him and then kill herself, or just kill herself. Movies like these you rarely get the person, the main character that turned into a villain, end up in jail. Like, I want to see that. Like, no, I'm good. I want to see her arrested. I want to see her dead. But
okay.
But I thought it was wild. Like when she stood up, I said, ain't no way, sis. Like, you small as hell. And you just standing up from this. But then you start to see how this entire scene pans out. How did y'all feel about this ending? Because Jason, I think you said the last 10 minutes was like crazy to where you had a bunch of questions.
Yeah. Like, okay, so boom, she gets hit by the car. She wakes up. She's in the hospital. Mm-hmm. So I feel like this was kind of like predatory for her. Like she's seen what would have or what could have happened or whatever. So she started seeing, what he got healthy, after she's gone. They leave in the hospital. She see her dad. Now she's looking for her dad. The entire time she's been avoiding him. Now he's avoiding her. I feel like he died. I do feel like he passed. And I feel like the elevator was going to heaven. That was my interpretation. Because he got in the elevator, lights go out, he goes up, and then for her, everything ended. All the lights go out, and then the candle lights, and then she follows the light. Follow the light. That's gonna get you. You dead. You follow the light. So she followed the light, and then she looks at her hands, and she see her hand is now shaped just like the hand that and then she reaches out, and then somebody is allowing her to let her in. Now she's going to go through her spiel or whatever, that situation. That's how I interpret it.
I mean, I guess with this ending, we see there is not a long line of ghosts just waiting. So there's like that.
So how do you get chose in that? That's like what made it choose her outside of them writing it that way? Like what was it? Unless it's just like, was it the same hand? Mm-hmm. Like, but the hand was in the fucking room. The hand was at the house. Like, how many of these goddamn hands they walking? How many of these hands just willy nilly want to play with spirits?
It might be the other one.
I need to look at the movie again, see if it was the right hand, left hand. That's
a good point.
Because obviously they were speaking a different language, so they might be in a different part of the world, and that could be part 2. Mm-hmm. We'll see. But like in the hospital, you said what?
Bread Box Barcelona.
Anyway, and so maybe missed my point. So we see she doesn't have the reflection, and so I thought like during this scene where she was in a hospital, Tom has gone past, I didn't think her dad passed away though, but I'm not mad at that because with him leaving and then that light going out, but then you also see her seeing Jade, Riley, and their mom leaving out the hospital. And so she's trying to get their attention, and then the light goes out as there as well. So I kind of took it as if everybody's moving on with their lives after she's gone. So, I mean, I don't know. Chris, did you have any kind of interpretation for this scene?
Yeah, mine was similar to yours, Jazz's. I didn't think that I thought the dad was alive. I didn't even think of that interpretation, but I took it at face value that everyone that time passed, I guess, not sure how much time, but some time had passed, and that she was just seeing that like Riley was okay, that her dad recovered, and that this is like she's just seeing like her loved ones. And I feel like everything that she was seeing was real. But now that I'm thinking about this, maybe seeing like some of the questions you asked, Jason, maybe this could set up for a sequel, and we could see things instead of just seeing like another hand, or we could see from the spirit's perspective, and maybe seeing like, how they're chosen, why these people are here, who they are, like who these other people are, like just answering some of those other questions. Because I feel like now, like I'm curious, like to that, like, how do they get chosen? Like, is it a line? Like, or maybe you're drawn to specific people because like now, with Mia, she died depressed. So maybe is she going to be drawn to other depressed people or other people who experience loss? So now, like, now I feel like there's at least questions that lead to a sequel. And that's like everything from the first one doesn't necessarily have to be answered, but I feel like there are some breadcrumbs to kind of lead us down a different trail instead of just like doing this same movie, a recreation of this same movie.
Yeah, I want to follow on one person upset. They want to play with hands. Like that's not what I want to play with personally.
Yeah, that's not. Yeah, I wouldn't have played this. Yeah, they wild for doing that. Like that's just wild. Like stuff when it comes to like conjuring spirits and like talking to the dead. I wouldn't mess with that.
Yeah. And so now we see that Mia is dead. She's out of here, out the game. And that is the end of Talk to Me. Gentlemen, we had a lot of discussion on this movie. So I'm excited to
this got deeper than I thought.
It got really deep, but it was really good because a lot of this stuff helped me because I had a lot of open questions. So y'all were definitely able to answer those. Chris, one of our questions, well, the main question while we are here, after all this discussion, was it good though?
Definitely. Like I thought this was a great movie actually. And I feel like I went in there, I didn't watch a trailer. The only thing I knew was that there was an object and then that people were playing with it and then people were getting possessed. So I didn't really know too much going in. So I really enjoyed this movie. There wasn't, I mean, I wouldn't really say there was anything. I mean, maybe I could nitpick about some things. But no, I thought this was like a great teen supernatural horror a movie. My friend described it as a drama, as a horror drama, which because there's a little bit of a love triangle, so I could see that. So maybe if people don't necessarily like that aspect, but I really enjoyed this movie though.
Objects that are possessed and kill people. Jason, was it good though?
It was. I enjoyed it. I did enjoy it, and I told you. I don't think I really said too much to you about it. I don't think you really said too much about it either. So we kind of, I see you got a lot to say. But yeah, I definitely enjoyed this movie. Maybe the best horror movie this year, right? Personally,
better than Evil Dead Rise?
Probably.
Probably.
I like
this is a better movie.
This may be better. I mean, as far as storytelling, because there's a whole bunch of stuff in Evil Dead. I was just like, man, these people are stupid. Like, just even though Mia was making some decision, at least it made more sense. She was grieving. Them kids was just living. Like they wrote. Like,
since we're here, I think every last one of these kids in this movie would fuck with that book from Evil Dead.
Oh, 100%.
All of them.
Oh, 100%. Oh God, yeah. They Danny.
This is where they start. Yep. This is right here. Talk to Me is where they start. And then they go on trips in college with their friends and they see Evil Dead books made of skin, human skin. So
100%.
It's like the evolution of it. I will say yes. I had a lot of questions. Outside of maybe 2 scenes that made me jump, I did not think this movie was scary.
Agree.
And I think the only things that Jason said to me when I told him I was about to watch this was just like, he was like, watch it at night, you're going to be scared. I'm like, oh, all right. Nah, my guy. I was like, oh, okay. Like,
yeah, I
it
wasn't
had me
scared.
jump like twice, but like,
I don't think it's like as far like I don't think I was scared, but it's like but at the same time, like when you start playing with like possession and stuff like that in the movie, it kind of focused me to a certain extent because it's just
I feel that.
But yeah,
is that why the lighthouse has you scared?
the lighthouse,
right,
it was I was asleep and watching it, so it was fucking with my sleep.
All right, yeah. So okay. Was there anything else y'all wanted to add to this movie? We had a lot of dialogue on this one. Not gonna lie.
I mean, I think I said everything that I kind of needed to say, but it was a great movie. Okay. Definitely a movie that was. I agree with y'all. I think this might be the best horror movie of the year. Actually, I would put this above Scream 6. Actually.
Oh, okay. All right.
Like not like way above, but like I would give this movie like 8.3, maybe good Scream 6 like about around the same rating, low 8 like that.
Okay. I don't know if I would give this best scary movie since I was not scared in this, but I haven't seen.
What was you scared of this year?
I was gonna say that there hasn't been a movie that I've seen that I was actually scared. And to say like horror, Scream, Evil Dead, and then this, and what else on the horror side? Oh, Megan was not scary at all, but that shit was funny.
Let me see.
Yeah, Megan wasn't scary at all. I saw Skinamarink this year, which y'all heard of that movie?
I feel like you said it was trash.
Don't even get me started on that.
I think so. We got Megan. This is what I've seen. Megan, Sick, The Nanny, which Jazz will not watch. I feel like that would mess with her. But
I have reasons why.
The Reading, yeah, I know why. Yeah, it's scared. The Reading, Cocaine Bear, Scream 6, Knock at the Cabin, Evil Dead Rises, The Blackening, if you want to count that. Bird Box, Barcelona, Insidious 5. Those are what I've seen.
I've seen all of those except for. Well, actually, I haven't seen Sick. I keep missing that. Have not seen Barcelona. I forgot about Knock at the Cabin. The Nanny. I didn't. I forgot. I don't even know what that is. The Nanny.
You should. I think. Okay. I think you should check that out. It's a psychological thriller. About a woman from I can't think of what country she's from, but she's a nanny in America, basically. So we just see her going through different stages. Check that out.
Matter of fact, I saw this one movie actually. It came out this year, but not in theaters. It's it's called Horror. It's a Tubi movie, but it was actually kind of all the. This is probably actually the scariest movie, just because it deals with like it feels like a real missing persons case. So and like missing people is like the one thing that kind of scares me. And that came out in 20. The sequel is the first one was scarier than the second one, but the second one came out this year and it's still pretty spooky. But it's called Horror in the High Desert too.
Okay.
Yeah, that's on Tubi.
I may check that out. Tubi.
Yeah.
I need beef.
Listen, Tubi can be hit or miss, but Tubi like I thought this was a really good movie.
Gotcha.
I try not to promote Tubi on this pod because I don't want nobody to hear it and be like, "Oh, let me go check out Tubi." Then
it's too late. Nigga, anybody that watches this podcast, they already have a Tubi subscription.
Listen, if you're watching Tubi, listen, you have to just understand that like you're gonna see some bullshit, and every now and then you might see a gem.
Anybody on Tubi already know what they're getting into.
You know. So if I say something is on Tubi and you watch, it, like, oh, this some bullshit. Like you just gotta recognize Tubi is what it is.
Marcus Houston, Flex Alexander, and the shorty, they on all the movies. They running Tubi right now.
See, I don't watch Tubi originals. I watch Tubi like stuff that was released. I saw elsewhere. Chris, did you ever watch Six Souls?
Six Souls. Tubi. Is that the? Hold on. Is that the movie about they get possessed? Is it like the serial killer?
Somewhat, but not really. It's got oh god, I just had her name in my head. I can't.
Jennifer Garner? Early 2000s.
I don't think it's Garner. I feel like Jennifer Garner was in Elektra. But yes. Six Souls, yeah, look that up real quick. But
I feel like I know what you're talking about, and I think I know. Hold on. Six Souls.
I think Tubi gonna have a nice Halloween selection.
Hell yeah.
So
it's Julianne Moore. That's who it is.
Julianne Moore, yeah.
Yeah.
Check that out. That
okay.
movie was
okay.
Wild. But our Link of Thrones. Our Link of Thrones is pretty much where we select an actor, a actress, or a writer from a movie we just reviewed, and we put you on to some project that they had previously or something coming up. Chris, since you are our guest, do you have your Link of Thrones?
I do. I may mispronounce their name. Zoe Tarakis. They play Haley, and I'm gonna say they because I feel like I'm not exactly sure how they identifying, so I'm just gonna say they to keep it safe. But they were in Non-Perfect Strangers with has Nicole Kidman,
and
very Regina, Regina Hall in it, who was really good actually. I thought she was great in it, playing a crazy woman. But she they were in this and Non-Perfect Strangers. That's a very good TV miniseries on Hulu. I feel like it kind of fell under the radar a little bit. Came on during COVID, and like I really enjoyed that. Like it doesn't go the direction that I think it'll go. It's gonna go in, and I'll leave it like that.
I think they have a season 2 coming out.
Really?
I think so, but don't quote me on that. But I feel like I seen something about a season 2 because I told myself I need to check that out.
Okay, that's good to know. Okay.
Jason, do you have your Link of Thrones?
I do. I have Miranda Otto. She was in the War of the Worlds with my guy Tom Cruise.
I bet. Okay. That's what's up. Yo guy, Tom Cruise. I am going to choose Daniel. Otis Dungy. He was in Aquaman.
Okay.
He was young Aquaman. I looked at that too.
Did not know that.
Now you know.
That's why we have it. That's why the Link of Thrones is here. But gentlemen, did y'all have anything else y'all wanted to add for this episode?
Very good movie. This has been a stacked summer. Jason and I had talked about that. This has been kind of a crazy summer, but I would definitely recommend that if you like horror. It's not really a scary movie. I mean, I don't think any of us were really scared, but I would definitely recommend watching this. It's a great story. And for people who maybe don't like horror and don't like being scared, they might still be scared. But if you can get past the possession stuff, and if you don't like horror, I recommend it. Some people, that's a deal breaker for.
Right. Jason, did you have anything you wanted to add?
No, I don't think so. Thank y'all for listening. If y'all listen, or when y'all listen, share it with somebody.
Thank y'all for having me.
Chris, I was going to say, did you want to plug? Thank you for joining us. I mean, by this time, you done been on here long enough. You're not a guest. So.
I appreciate it. I mean, if y'all see my my at Chris LaFleur, that's IG and Twitter. I almost said Tinder. That's not Tinder, Twitter. But yeah, just don't look at me like that. You give me a look. But yeah, if y'all want to follow me, that's cool. I'll follow back. If not, that's fine too. I like talking movies, TV shows. We can also talk about sports. But yeah, so I love being on here. Thank y'all for having me.
No problem. Thank you for joining us. And definitely want to give a shout out to our followers and subscribers. We appreciate y'all. And I just want to go ahead and give a brief little public announcement. Our pod is not for everybody, and that's okay. But we're not changing nothing, and we're not making nothing shorter. And that's all I got for you. So if it's too long, I'm sorry. If you can only do 45 minutes, go ahead. We get those listens. Please be sure to like, subscribe, rate, review, drop comments, and hit us up on our IGs, TikTok, Twitter, all of that stuff. And this is the Was It Good Though podcast. Cheers.
Yes, episode 63. What's the name of this damn movie again?
Talk to me.
Come and talk to me. I really wanna. Y'all not gonna join in? Jason just nodded his head. The people can't hear you.
I was jumping at the next out. You know what I'm saying?
I love Jodeci, but I'll let you say.
Yeah, whatever. All right. Bye.
It's been real.